Playoff time on WCTV Channel 16. Tonight's Division II state playoff game is a regional quarterfinal matchup in Region 6, pitting the number 5 seed visiting Midview Middies against the host number 4 school, the Wadsworth Grizzlies. Hi again, everybody. This is John Bernard along with Larry Varner, and we're just about ready for kickoff. Sam Galpert has it teed up. One man back for the Middies. And the whistles blow.
I think that's going to be offside. Wadsworth looks like somebody came across the line too soon on that. So Wadsworth will take a 5-yard penalty and kick over again.
The Middies of Grafton, Ohio are the champs of the Lorain County Conference, and they're a team that loves to run the ball right at their opponents, having averaged 400 rushing yards per contest and 51 points on top of that. Brett Boron, senior tailbacks, he's a name you're going to hear often in tonight's broadcast. He ran for 320 yards in Midview's season-ending win last week.
Well, Midview's put up some impressive statistics. They're scoring 50 points a game, holding their opponents to only 10. But something you have to take into account is the fact that the Lorain County League is considered to be one of the weakest leagues, if not the weakest league in the state. And Midview has not played nearly the caliber of football teams that Wadsworth has.
Kick is a little shallow. It's bobbled, then picked up by a quick runner down the left sideline, and he's finally brought down, and he fumbles the ball, picked up by the Grizzlies.
Well, that's a good way to start the game. Not a particularly good kickoff. Number 24.
Andrew Blazek.
He ran the ball back, and I couldn't see who recovered, but it was a good hit. It was a 40-yard return before the fumble. So Wadsworth takes over on about the
their own
35-yard line. So good break for the Grizzlies to start everything off.
On the Grizzlies offense, they have a running game of their own that has come about in the second half of the season with Joe Tricomie as the featured back, and the Grizzly passing game needs to get back to their old ways with senior Mike Hoover hooking up with his various targets.
Tony Moeller recovered the fumble. First play for Wadsworth.
Hoover going deep down the sideline, out of the reach of Chris Brink.
Well, the kind of defense that Midview plays, they play a 4-4 defense, and they're going to be blitzing linebackers on just about every play. And I think if you want to watch somebody tonight and see how the game is going to go, look to Chris Brink. Chris Brink is going to have a big game tonight if Wadsworth is going to win. And you can see on the first play of the game, they went deep to Brink. Chris Brink has a speed that no linebacker is going to keep up with him, and yet he's big enough that he can't be tackled very well by a defensive back. So Brink and maybe Tricomie out of the backfield catching pass. There are a couple things to look for tonight.
Give to Tricomie. And he doesn't get much yardage there, maybe 1 yard.
The strength of the defense, and they play their 4-4, the linebackers, number 44, Dan Rosansky, and his brother, number 50, Don Rosansky. They're very aggressive linebackers, and you would have to say that's the strength of the Midview team. Going back to the schedule that Midview plays, they play such a weak schedule. Even though they were 10-0, they're only ranked 5th in the region. In fact, if it hadn't been for the expanded playoff picture, they wouldn't have made the playoffs at 10-0.
Mike Hoover ready to go. Play action to Tricomie. Now he looks up the middle of the field. Caught by Chris Brink at the 45, to the 40, the 30, the 25. Pushed out of bounds at the Midview 20.
Every now and then it's nice to say, I told you so. And the way the Midview defense is going to play, it just leaves the field wide open for Chris Brink because they haven't got anybody really that can cover him as long as they're blitzing. So there was a 43-yard pass to Chris Brink, and the Grizzlies are rolling.
And Larry, here's their 10 games. They beat only 2 Division II schools. They had 6 wins over Division IV teams and 2 over Division V. So
Midview really is kind of a wild card. You don't know exactly what they got. Penalty flag, and that's probably going to be motion on Wadsworth, I would guess. When you got a team that's 10-0 and plays a very weak schedule, what do they have? I mean, they could be the best team in the state. On the other hand, they could just be somebody who's beating up on the little guys. So as time goes on, we'll see tonight. But here's an interesting statistic for you to tell you how they were rated as far as computer points are concerned. 31 teams this year were undefeated in the state of Ohio. Of the 31, 16 are ranked number 1 in their region, 6 are ranked number 2, 6 were ranked number 3, 1 number 4, and only 2 teams 10-0 were seeded number 5. Johnstown Northridge in Division 5, and of course Midview. So it's a 1st and 15 for Wadsworth.
A little pop pass intended for Chris Brink as he slanted in towards the middle of the field a little bit, and he fell down, not making the catch, incomplete.
The other thing you got to say about the Midview team, they are hitters, they're gutsy kids. They're not going to give up if things get tough. But Wadsworth has played in some very tight games against some very tough teams, something that Midview hasn't. And as I was walking around the school this week, you just kind of got a feeling of quiet confidence about this game that, unlike last week, where Wadsworth probably had to play the perfect game to beat Cloverleaf, play their game to win tonight.
Tricomie was tripped up at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be 3rd down and long for the Grizzlies. Well, on the other side of the schedule, meaning for the Grizzlies, they had played just 2 teams below Division II, and they beat 3 Division I teams. 3rd and 12 for the Grizzlies, 10:25 left first quarter. Just underway here at packed Art Wright Stadium. Vujis and Copeland split to the left. And pass on the sideline intended for Joe Tricomie. And it's 4th down for the Grizzlies. See what they do here.
The first few passes that Hoover's thrown, he's been throwing the ball just a little bit high. He's got to bring that down a little bit. That could be like excitement. You're being pumped, got a little bit too much adrenaline, and the ball's going too high on you. But this will be a good game, an interesting game. And like I say, unlike Copley, where Wadsworth probably had to play the perfect game to win, they feel if they can play their game this week, they can beat this team.
4th and 12, Grizzlies going for it. Hoover rolling to his left, looking down, and interference call. Adam Copeland was going to go to the sideline and make one of those diving catches, but number 21.
Brett Boron, who is their star running back, also plays at a safety. It was pretty obvious that there was interference on the play. They're calling offensive interference on Wadsworth? Oh, my. Offensive interference is being called on Wadsworth, and that is a call you very rarely see. Evidently, they feel that the receiver pushed off on the play, and what's going to happen is Midview will decline the penalty, and they'll just take over the ball on downs, I believe.
And a program note, Larry, where you would have usually seen a replay there on that one. We would have been able to see what happened. We're working on getting the replay camera working down on the field for you as we speak.
So Midview takes over the ball on downs on the, see where they spot the ball. They're marking the ball on the 25-yard line. So this will be the first play from scrimmage for Midview. They took the opening kickoff, but fumbled the kickoff run back. And watch this powerful running game that they have here.
And he just goes a little to the left of the line, doesn't get anywhere.
Dan Rosansky run the ball. He's their big fullback. He's 5'11", 230. And one interesting thing tonight, this will be the first quarterback that Wadsworth has played against all year. He's bigger than Hoover. The quarterback, number 17, Ben Elwell, is 6'6" and weighs 210 pounds. And he doesn't throw the ball much, though he's accurate when he does. But one wrinkle that he brings, he's a very good blocker, and you'll often see him leading the plays around him, let's say, and throwing a block where need be.
Another run just up the middle.
Elwell once again, handing off, and
Dan Rosansky, the ball carrier.
And he picked up a couple on that, so it's going to bring up about a 3rd down and 5 for Midview. They run a lot of counter plays, a lot of misdirection plays. They tend to run the ball up the middle. They don't have the speed to the outside that, fortunately, like we saw last week with Copley. So it's pretty much punched up the middle. And the Wadsworth defensive line is going to have to come up big and make some stops here, as they've been doing.
And a quarterback sack by Tony Moeller as he came flying through the line and put Elwell on his backside.
I think there was a mix-up there. There was motion in the backfield, and Elwell, I think, was looking for somebody to hand off to, and there was nobody there except a bunch of Wadsworth Grizzlies. They lost 3 on the play, so it's going to bring up to 4th down and 9. So they're going to have to punt. Wadsworth should get the ball in good field position.
And Elwell is also the punter, Larry, for the Midview Middies. Takes a low snap, and he boots a nice one.
And
Joe Tricomie fields it at the 45, midfield, and to the 42 of Midview are the Grizzlies, where they'll take over first and 10 with 8:18 to go in the first.
About a 13-yard return on that punt. Nice play by Tricome. One of the problems Wadsworth has been having on the receiving of punts is they tend to let the ball go, and many times it'll roll another 10 or 20 yards. Tricome caught that one, dodged the first tackler, and had just a little bit of an opening to bring the ball back to the Midview 42-yard line. So let's see if Hoover can get the ball down just a little bit now.
Tricome again trips over someone else's legs and falls at the 40.
Well, he had another 5 yards if he hadn't tripped on that play. And they'll give him a pickup of maybe 1 on the play, so it'll bring up the second down and 9.
Well, I think, Larry, the key for the Grizzlies tonight, as I said, the passing game, get back to their old ways, but the mixture of pass then run, if successful, could be the key for them to win this game.
Well, I think, too, they have to get over that Copley loss and put it behind them and move on. It looks like so far they've done it. They've come out and looked pretty good spirited. Good fake.
Took the fake. Hoover scrambling out of pressure, gets some blocks, throws it to the other side of field, just out of the reach of Adam Copeland, the senior split end.
It's a nice play by Hoover, but once again, the ball was way overthrown. He's just putting too much on the ball. So that's going to bring up a third down and 9.
A couple of the Midview defenders bit on that fake there.
Oh, a beautiful fake.
Mike Hoover on the season passed for over 2,300 yards and 29 touchdowns with only 5 interceptions.
Well, the last 5 games of the season, Wadsworth went to the running game at Tricome. I think tonight they're going back to what got them there in the first 5 games to pass it.
Fake again to Tricome. Hoover rolling out of pressure again. Going to keep it himself. Running down the sideline. Just puts his head down and dives for a first down.
One thing about Hoover is he is an excellent athlete, and when he gets outside, he can run with the ball. And when he got around the end there was absolutely no contain. The defensive backs have dropped back to cover the receivers. And as soon as he turned the corner, he had 15 yards before anybody was going to get near him. So it's an 18-yard run for Hoover, and that puts the ball down on the 23-yard line, first and 10 Wadsworth.
High formation for the Grizzlies. The give to Joe Tricome, goes over left side, gets it to about the 21, gain of 2.
So far, Midview is playing tough against the run. They bring those backers up and they can hit you. So 2-yard gain, they're making it a 3-yard gain. It's going to be a second down and maybe 7 to go.
The Grizzlies, of course, finished second in the Suburban League. They were unranked in the final state poll, and Midview was ranked number 11. In the final Division II poll. Hoover short drop back, past the brink. He's at the 10, and he gets tripped up inside the 10 to about the 7 or 8 of Midview. Just a little over the shoulder catch.
No matter who Midview's played, they've never seen a person like Chris Brink. A linebacker can't cover him, safeties can't tackle him. And you saw he caught that ball. The tackle was tried to be made, and he just busted right through the tackle to take it down to the 8-yard line, where it's going to be first and goal for Wadsworth on the 8.
A pitch to Joe Tricome. And the defense is there to meet him at the 8-yard line, maybe a gain of 1.
But they are playing the run tough. They certainly are. Talking about Suburban League teams, Copley, of course, made the playoff, and they're ranked 3rd in the state in Division III. And one of the problems with the new playoff situation, where number 1 plays number 8, they were afraid there were going to be some blowouts in the first round, and as soon as this play is over, we'll talk about that.
Hoover under center, rolls out to the left, looking in the corner of the end zone, and Adam Copeland wasn't near the pass, but he was open.
And Copley was ranked number 1 in their region, and they're playing the number 18, which is Jefferson area from up around Ashtabula. And I don't know what to say. That's going to be quite a mismatch. When you look in the paper tomorrow, look at that score, don't be surprised if Copley wins by something like 50 points. I'll tell you, John, one thing that surprised me is that Revere got bumped out of the playoffs. Last week they were ranked 6th in their region, and I thought they were pretty much a lock to at least make it to 8, but
thinking all they had to do was beat Norton, which they did. In the corner is Chris Brink, open, dives, makes the catch! Touchdown, Chris Brink.
10-yard touchdown pass from Hoover to Brink.
Nicely
5:33 to go.
Chris Brink just ran into the end zone, turned his shoulders to the corner. Hoover placed the pass perfectly in his paws.
And Sam Galpert on to try the extra point, and though he's missed one or two, he's as close to being automatic as you're going to find in high school football today.
This will be his, if he makes it, his 30th extra point.
Whistles blow before the snap. One thing I want to say, Jeff Hanna, his usual holder, has been out for the last 2 games. He was injured a couple games ago. And so the holder is Vujas now, I believe, and did a good job in the 2 games that he's been holding the ball. The penalty was Midview was offside, and it was declined.
Here's the kick.
It's
High
good.
kick, and it's good. 7-0 Wadsworth. 5:33 to go, first period.
Well, we only got a minute here to score 7-0. The Wadsworth fans are on their feet cheering the team. For all you Shelby Whippet fans out there, the Shelby Whippets did make the playoff. They managed to sneak into the number 8 spot in their region. And as we speak tonight, the Shelby Whippets are going to be playing Columbus Bishop Watterson, who is ranked number 1 in their division. So let's cheer the Shelby Whippets on, and hopefully they can move on in the playoff picture. Here's the stats so far. It's been all Wadsworth. Hoover, 9 passes, 3 completions, but for 56 yards and a touchdown, their running game has pretty much been negligible. I said at the beginning of the show, watch for Chris Brink. He has 3 catches for 56 yards, all the catches, and the touchdown. And Midview has had the ball twice. They fumbled the first time on the opening kickoff run back. The second time they were stopped on down. So they have yet to get anything rolling.
Something Wadsworth didn't do often this season, strike first, which they've done here tonight. The kick is fielded by number 24, Andrew Blazek, but he's met by a host of Grizzlies at the 24.
It was only a 6-yard return. It was excellent coverage by Wadsworth. The kickoff wasn't that deep, but it was quite high. The hang time gave the Wadsworth defenders time to get down there. So Midview will take over for their second try, once again on the 25-yard line, as they started the first series of play. They run out of a wing formation. Now they're in a double wing in motion.
The motion player gets the ball, and he carries it to the 34 of Wadsworth.
Jake Wilhite made the tackle. And I'll tell you, if you want to see something different this week than Copperly last week, he had the corner, but chose not to take it. He cut the ball back up inside. And I think you're going to see that a lot with this Midview team. They don't really have the speed to get wide, so they're going to come and try to cut the ball back. He picked up over 9 yards on the play, so it's going to be second down and about half a yard.
Grizzly defense has allowed 180 yards of rushing per game this season. Number 21, Brett Voron, running the ball, scampers by a defender, has 1 man to beat. It's Ben Vujas. Vujas trying to run him down, and he does, and pushes him out of bounds at the 10, and there's the running game we talked about.
There's an injured Wadsworth Grizzly on the play.
It's Tony Moeller.
Moeller has been out with a leg injury quite a bit. He might have re-injured that leg.
Moeller looks to be in a lot of pain just near midfield on the Midview side of the field.
That was a 55-yard run, and Vujas was brought in to replace the injured Jeff Hanna. He's very quick and did manage to run him down.
Let's send it down to Jeff Jenkins on the sidelines.
Sam Galpert. Hey, John, Jeff on the field. With that extra point, Sam Galpert just set the all-time school record with 66 extra points. And talking to the coach before the game, Midview, all their players are in good shape. Nobody's hurt. And we'll get back to you with Moeller's condition here in a couple seconds here. Back up to you guys.
All right, Jeff, thank you very much. 4:39 left in the first. Wadsworth leading 7-0, but Midview threatening to put some points on the board.
Well, you want to know how this game is going to go. I think you saw it. Wadsworth's going to pass up and down the field. Midview's going to run up and down the field. No surprises there. Get back what I was saying. When Hanna was injured, they put Vujas in. And Vujas is a little bit faster than Hanna, and he managed to run him down and knock him out of bounds on the 10-yard line.
Well, now we have this injury timeout. Larry, we could talk a little bit about the Division II Region 6 matchups. Of course, Wadsworth playing Midview here tonight. The winner of tonight's ball game faces the winner of the Piqua White House Anthony Wayne game.
And Piqua's got to be heavily favored. They're ranked either number 1 or number 2 in the state, depending on who you talk to. White House Anthony Wayne, though, they have a good record. They're a lot like Midview. They're a suburban Toledo team, actually almost ex-urban Toledo team. They didn't play a schedule all that tough.
Avon Lake at Sylvania Southview. The winner of that game will play the winner of Amherst Steel at Marysville.
Marysville's another real tough team. They're ranked in the top 5 in the state division too, so you'd expect Marysville to win that. Should Wadsworth go in tonight and Piqua win also, next week game would be played at a neutral site, probably somewhere around Columbus. If Wadsworth were to win and Anthony Wayne somehow defeated Piqua, the game would probably be played in maybe Sandusky, Norwalk, somewhere like that on a neutral site. So probably Sunday or Monday in the paper, should Wadsworth win this, we'll know where they're going to be playing the next game. But of course they have to get through this one first, and this one's got a long, long way to go, particularly with the impressive running game that Midview showed so far. So we're ready to play again. 1st and 10. Midview just inside the 10-yard line. They can't pick up a first down. They have to score, turn the ball over on down.
Ben Elwell, Midview quarterback, hands it off to the fullback, Dan Rosansky. He takes it down to about the 6.
That Rosansky's a load. He isn't that tall, 5'11", but at 230, he's like a fire plug coming through there, and it's going to take more than one person to stop him. They actually marked the ball on the 6, so it's going to be 2nd down and 6 for Midview. You know, you were talking before about Wadsworth trailing in like 7 of the 11 games they've played so far. I don't think Midview's ever been behind in a game. This is probably the first time all year that they've been behind. Penalty flag on the play. It's a 5-yard penalty, delay a game against Midview. And that's a big penalty. When you got a running team, there's a big difference between 2nd and 5 and 2nd and 10. Wadsworth, with their passing game, doesn't matter all that much, but that's a big one against Midview. Once again, Midview's lining up in that double wing T. They'll probably run motion off. There's the motion there.
And Elwell gives it again to Rosansky. He rumbles inside the 5 to the 4.
And I think it was Chris Brink or made a game-saving tackle on that, because somebody just got it by an ankle as he was about to break through. I'm not sure it was Brink because it's kind of hard to see in the pile down there, but that was a big tackle. Brings up 3rd down and 4 from just inside the 5-yard line.
This time, jumping over the pile is, I think, number 22, Doug Gerber, a senior back.
And there are a lot of Grizzlies there to stack them up right at the goal line, so it's going to bring up a 4th down and 1 from the 1. And Midview shows no inclination at all to kick the field goal. But I think they're going to call a timeout and talk it over.
You look at the stats.
They're bringing a couple players in. They may get another delay of the game here if they're not careful. They brought 2 players in and are taking 2 out very late. Now they're lining up, and they're going for it on 4th down and a couple inches to go on the Wadsworth goal line.
Elwell hands it to Rosansky. He stopped, then he falls in. That'll be a touchdown for Midview.
That was very close. It almost looked like his knee was down before he made it in. There was a lot of extra effort there, and the whistle did not blow until late. So they gave the touchdown, and it's going to make the score 7-6 with the extra point try coming. Wadsworth almost stopped them.
So it's 7-6. We'll go to the extra point, then we'll head down to the sideline for Jeff Jenkins' report on Tony Moeller.
Another penalty flag down.
Let's go down to Jeff right now.
Hey guys, on the field, Tony Moeller went down with a sprained ankle. He's up back on it. They taped it. He's running on it again. He'll be back in the game. Back up to you.
Well, good to hear that. Thank you, Jeff. Tony Moeller, just a little ankle twist.
The referees are discussing the penalty.
Jason Monshine, a senior, in to kick the extra point.
And the penalty's going to go against Wadsworth, a half the distance penalty. And I didn't see the signal what it was for. Evidently somebody from Wadsworth lined up offside. And you'd think maybe with that half the distance, their great running game, they go for two, but they're lining up as if they're going to kick the extra point.
Monshine's kick is through the uprights and good. Tie ball game with 2:23 to go in the first.
Well, as I said before, this is what you're going to see all night. Wadsworth pass down the field, Midview run down the field. Actually, the Wadsworth defense did not play badly except for the 156-yarder that was broken. And in particular, down on the goal line, they did make a good stand. The running back just barely got in on a 4th down carry.
Going back, Larry, to the strength of these team schedules. Just an example, the Suburban League, in which Wadsworth was the runner-up, the Suburban League was 15-9 in non-conference play, and the Lorain County Conference, which the Midview Middies are members of, were 5-16 in non-conference play.
Here's some stats on that drive. So far, the running game is all that Midview is going for. Dan Rosansky has 5 carries, 16 yards. Brett Boron has 1 carry, 56-yarder. And Doug Gerber has 4 carries for 13 yards as Midview kicks off.
The kick bounces at the 20, then back. Pat McCarthy picks it up, goes down to one knee.
That was a smart play by McCarthy because the ball was bouncing crazily. McCarthy caught it. If he had been hit, there was a good chance he would have fumbled the ball, so he immediately just knelt down. And the ball was taken over by Wadsworth on the 21-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Grizzlies.
This is the second postseason trip for the Grizzlies. Their undefeated season in 1996 when they were 10-0, and they lost to that Athletic Solon team.
Oh, that's a motion penalty against Wadsworth, and that's going to be 5 yards moving back. That Solon team was very, very good.
48-7 was the final in that game.
Midview, on the other hand, made the playoffs last year, and they managed to just squeak by Revere in the first playoff game, and then were beaten in the regional final game. This entirely different Wadsworth team than the one, though, that lost to Solon. That was Dan Herbert and primarily run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. And this one, of course, is passing oriented.
Chris Brink at tight end moves to the other side of the line. Pitch to Joe Tricomi. And he gets to the 17, a gain of 2.
You got to be impressed with the way that Midview's stopping the Wadsworth run. I don't know how many yards rushing Wadsworth has, but it certainly is not very many. And you wonder how long Wadsworth is going to be able to go with just running Tricomi up the middle.
Brings up 2nd down and 14 for Wadsworth. The ball spotted on their own.
Well, it'll be 2nd down and 14 for Wadsworth. Time's running down here in the first quarter.
Fake handoff, pop pass to Copeland, incomplete. He ran that nice slant pattern where he dives to the middle of the field, incomplete.
That would have been about a 10-yard pickup, but it would have been short of a 1st down. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 14 for Wadsworth.
Joe Tricomi, coming into tonight, has rushed for 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns. Hoover, short drop back, looking for Copeland again. This time finds him in between a couple defenders as he takes it to the 36.
A very nice pass by Mike Hoover, right on the money. Copeland made a nice catch, but he was running in full stride, managed to get another 5 yards that made it the 1st down. So Wadsworth has 1st down on the 36-yard line. And it looks like they're going to, the way they're going to move the ball is with the pass, at least until they loosen this defense up. I mean, you look at how packed in the Midview defenders are.
Joe Tricomi just met by Dan Rosansky at behind the line of scrimmage. Tackle for a loss, and the Middies have quite a few of those this season.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I haven't seen better individual players, but from what I've seen tonight, this crew of Middy linebackers, it might be the best that Wadsworth has played against. And I don't think that run up the middle is going to go at all tonight. So they lost 2 on the play. It's going to bring up a 2nd down and 12 with about 45, we see on the clock, 45 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Hoover fake handoff to Tracomie down the left sideline for Brink. Incomplete. He was defended well that time. Don Rozanski, who just made that nice play on the running Joe Tracomie. 12 tackles for losses on the running back.
On that pass play, I don't think that went the way Wadsworth wanted because they had 2 receivers almost running the same route. Brink was there and also Vujis, and what that does is bring 2 defenders over there, so you're automatically throwing into double coverage. So I think there was a misread somewhere along the line on that play. But 3rd down and 12, 37 seconds to go.
In the shotgun. Takes the snap. Over the middle of the field to Copeland, and he takes it to the 48. That'll be a 1st down for the Grizzlies.
Boy, they're running that play really nice. There's nothing fancy about it. And Copeland's just lining up on the outside, and he runs the slant across the middle. And the key is the last couple of plays. Hoover's delivered the ball right on the money. Catches the ball full stride. And those were 2 big 1st downs. One was 15 yards, and the other one was 12 as Wadsworth continues to drive. And this will probably be the last play of the first quarter.
Adam Copeland averaging 16 yards per catch. Handoff Joe Tracomie just pounces into the line, and he's pushed back hard.
And he got nothing on that play. And that'll be the end of the first quarter with the score 7-7. So, what do you think, John? Pretty much what you expected so far?
Seeing some nice defense played here on both sides of the ball so far, and I don't think Midview's gonna put up quite the amount of points they have all season.
No, one would think not, but you would expect that they weren't going to score any 50 points on Wadsworth. One thing got to mention, such a beautiful night for a game. When you consider this is the first weekend in November, you could expect snows and blizzards and ice and all that kind of stuff. But it's not. It's a beautiful night. It's about 55 degrees. The wind has calmed down just a bit. Great night for football. Here's some stats for you as far as Wadsworth is concerned. Mike Hoover, 13 passes, 5 completions, 101 yards and a touchdown. Tracomie, on the other hand, has rushed the ball 8 times for only 7 yards. Wadsworth has 6 first downs, all in the air. Chris Brink, 3 catches, 56 yards and a touchdown. And Adam Copeland, 2 catches for 36 yards. Midview hasn't completed the pass. In fact, they haven't attempted a pass. All their games have come by way of the run, and the big one was the 56-yard run by Boron. That has been the highlight of their night so far as Wadsworth takes over. Start the second quarter. It's going to be a 2nd down and 9 on the 45-yard line. Referee's getting everything in order.
First play of the second quarter, Mike Hoover. Slant run by Ben Vujis at the 40, then he dives forward for a few extra yards to the 37.
Boy, there's nothing fancy about that. They're just running the slants because the safety is playing in so tight that there's no help back for the corner. And if you're running the slant against the corner, you take a couple steps, drive him back. He's going to be behind you, and you're going to be first to the ball running across the middle. So I don't think they can stay in that type of defense very long at all.
Hoover hands to Tracomie this time. He trips around the line of scrimmage, then dives forward for some positive yardage, about 3-yard gain.
And that's the first plus yardage that Tracomie has run all night. He picked up 5 on the play to bring a 2nd down and 5. Now they're making 4, 2nd and 6.
Joe Tracomie averaging 6 yards per carry on the season.
Right now he's averaging less than 1. But I hope that they can loosen up that defense and get Tracomie rolling a bit.
Play action fake to Tracomie. Long pass downfield intended for Vujis. He was covered well. Incomplete pass.
So 2nd down and 6, Wadsworth decided to go for it all. Ball just a little bit overthrown. And I don't know, but I'm guessing the Wadsworth is going to four down territory here, even though they're only on the 33-yard line. So they probably went deep for that one, figuring if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. And we've got 2 more tries to pick up the first down.
High formation for the Grizzlies. Hoover looking to the left now, finds Brink wide open, and it's in and out of his hands at about the 12-yard line. Very nicely placed pass by Mike Hoover. Brink just couldn't get a handle on it.
Yeah, Tony Moeller is back in the game, so the ankle sprain, such as it was, couldn't be too serious because he's running the up back position. As I just said, this is 4 down territory for Wadsworth here on the 34-yard line, 33-yard line. So it's 4th and 6 with 10:53 to go in the second quarter. And this could be a big play for Wadsworth. If they pick this up, it'll give them a big lift and could be a bit demoralizing for the Midi defense.
Shotgun for the Grizzlies. Hoover, little drop back. Tricome pushed out of bounds. And the Middies will take over on downs at the their own 32.
Well, you'd have to say that was a very nice call that didn't fool anybody. They just threw the ball out to Tricome in the flat, and what they were hoping is that there was no linebacker over there in time to get him, that he could pick up the 6 yards, and it worked to perfection, except one of the outside linebackers for the Middies came over, knocked him out of bounds almost as soon as he caught the ball. So Midview takes over, 1st and 10 on the 32-yard line, and see if Wadsworth can stop the run this time.
Elwell gives it to Doug Gerber. Gerber going around the right. And Pat McCarthy brings him down at the 40.
Boy, when that first broke, I thought he was going all the way. McCarthy got over there and made a good tackle. But it was a pickup of 8 yards on the play. Bring up a 2nd and 2. But I looked over there on that side, and the wide receiver had gone deep, taking the safety with them, and there was just nobody there but McCarthy to make the tackle. Nice play by Pat.
Handoff up the middle. May have got the first down.
I think that was Rosinski carrying the ball. It's going to be very close, depends on the spot. And they're saying no. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 1. Now they're calling for a measurement. Now they're respotting the ball.
Well, we've kept talking about the running game of Midview. They have 3 players that average over 10 yards per carry out of the backfield.
They're impressive on that running game. Tony Moeller, I think, made the stop in that play. A good hit. There were a lot of Wadsworth Grizzlies in on the play.
And there were 3 in the backfield there. Doug Gerber gets the first down and more. He skips out of the hands of one Grizzly defender. He's at the 30. He's going to go in for a touchdown. Midview Middies, number 22, Doug Gerber.
And that was a 59-yard touchdown run. And what's happening as far as Wadsworth is concerned, if they can't stop at the line of scrimmage, they're not going to stop them. And anytime these guys bust loose, they are on their way. He's got over 100 yards rushing so far already in the second quarter.
That was Doug Gerber, the senior. That's his 16th touchdown of the season.
So not only are they rushing the ball, they're picking it up in big chunks. In fact, it's almost like a passing game. They can score from that.
Monshine
outside
in for the extra point. It's good, 14-7. Midview with 9:20 to go in the first half.
Well, Wadsworth is going to have to do something to figure out how to stop those big gainers. They've done well when the ball has gone up the middle, and it's one of these deals. They're either getting no yards or 50 on the runs. So see if the Wadsworth coaches make any adjustment in the defense to try to stop those long gainers. But Wadsworth will now take over after the kick. The tough one on that one, too, was a 3rd down and 1, and maybe Wadsworth is jammed in trying to stop the run, and you bust, a lot of times in a short yardage situation like that, if you can bust through that opening wall, there's nobody left to tackle you.
Head coach for the Midview Middies is Bill Albright. He's in his 14th year.
You know, one thing that surprises me with this running game they've got, you wonder why they ever kick an extra point. You know, instead of going for 2 points, they're gaining, what you said, they got 3 running backs that are picking up 10 yards per carry. You think they'd be better off just always going for 2.
Well, coming into the night's game, after the kickoff here, as Ben Osterlund picks it up, just runs up the middle of the field, drags the defender with him to the 35. Their three main running backs, Boron, Rosansky, and Gerber. Boron, 1,100 yards coming in. Rosansky, over 900, and Gerber over 700.
That's a fairly impressive running game when you put those three in the same backfield.
First and 10 Grizzlies at the 34. Moeller, the right ankle all taped up, and flag flying from the side, Judge.
And that looks like it's going to be offsides against Wadsworth. Somebody lined up offside. And
they're walking back.
That's what they call. So somebody for Wadsworth, that's the fifth penalty for Wadsworth, and a couple of them that just line up offside. So that isn't helping the Wadsworth cause any. So it brings up a 1st and 15 for Wadsworth on the 29 instead on the 34.
Mike Hoover running to the right, and he's keeping it himself at the 30, pushed out of bounds at the 20 or the 34.
So he got the 5 yards back and maybe a little more, but that's about it.
Looking at the Grizzlies' penalty situation on the season, Larry, they've been penalized about 30 times more than their opponents for about double the amount of yardage.
And I'll tell you, you don't blame that on the refs because a lot of those are pretty obvious penalties.
A little draw play, handoff to Joe Tricome, works well for the Grizzlies as he dives just about to the first down marker, maybe a yard shy.
Well, that time, instead of just handing off the ball to Tricome, they went to the draw, and what that did is loosen up the linebackers a little bit and give Tricome a bit of room to get through. And that was a nice run, nice square move, good drive. And he picked up 8 on the place, or 9, so they're going to bring up a 3rd down and 1 for the Grizzlies.
.802 left. First half, Tricome tries to get through the middle of the line, and he spins out of 2 defenders, takes it to midfield into Midview territory. What a beautiful job by Joe Tricome, not giving up. He had 2 defenders on him, and he just spun out of it and got the first down.
Well, when he got bounced back, I think the whole Midview team thought that he was stopped and the refs were going to blow the whistle, and I'll be honest with you, I'm surprised he didn't. I think I would have. It looked like he was stopped on the play, but then spun around and made the first down. That's Wadsworth's first running first down. They have 9 first down totals, 8 by pass, only 1 by the run.
Joe Tricome gets the fake, and then Hoover's going to go long down the middle of the field, and it's intercepted by number 22, Doug Gerber. Kind of just a lofted up pass there, and
that was not a particularly good pass by Hoover. The coverage was down there, and the ball was just kind of thrown up for grabs, and Gerber was the person that grabbed it. So he was tackled immediately, and Midview will take over the ball. 1st and 10 on the 16-yard line.
Gerber leading the Middies in interceptions this season. He had 5 prior to that one, his 6th.
Well, Wadsworth has got to do something to stop the run right here. They can't let Midview run up and down the field. They're going to be in for a very, very long night.
And handoff to Gerber. He goes around the right end, but Greg Dent and one other Grizzly, Steve Robertson, were there to make the stop.
That was a good hit by Dent, and that's what you've got to do. And Robertson came up to put the finishing touches, so if Dent had missed, Robertson was there to make the tackle. And with all that razzle-dazzle counter movement, they only gained 1 yard on the play. I hope we can see a bit more of that out of Wadsworth tonight, stopping them at the line of scrimmage on first down. Of course, they've been getting their big runs on 3rd down as far as that goes.
This time, the give goes to Rosansky, and he takes it to the 25.
I think he's going to be just short of the first down, depending on the spot. They're marking it right on the 25, and if that mark is good, he should be about a foot short of the first down. Brings up a 3rd and 1, and this is the play that's been killing Wadsworth. Oh, they call for a measurement. I think he's going to be short by about a foot. But this is the play that kills Wadsworth, the 3rd and 1, because they've been stopping him short or giving him 56 yards, one or the other.
Patiently waiting, and it is short. It looks like he's holding the chain there for.
It's going to be about a foot short, yeah. So that'll bring up 3rd and about a foot on the Wadsworth 25-yard line.
Ball laying on the 25-yard line of the Middies.
This time Wadsworth is not stacking up the defense, trying to stop the 1 inch. They're playing back a little bit. They don't want the big one to go.
And Boron gets the give this time. Pat McCarthy wrapped around his ankle, stopped him at the 26.
They were going for it all. They weren't going for the yard on that play, and McCarthy made a nice play and a nice tackle, but he just managed to get the first down. So Midview have a 1st and 10 now on the 26-yard line.
Elwell this time gives to Gerber, goes around the right, and he's swept up by the Grizzly defense.
Jeff Dietrich was in there to make the tackle. That was a nice tackle by Jeff. Got some stats for you from Midview. Amazing running, 4 first downs. Boron, 2 carries, 57 yards. Rosansky, 9 carries, 26 yards. And Gerber, 5 carries for 80 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. So they've been running the ball pretty much at will, which is what they've done all year long.
And they're going to throw Elwell over the middle of the field, intended for Gerber, and incomplete.
That's the first pass they threw tonight, and it was not very well thrown. Just over the middle, and a lot of people had a shot of them. Some of them were wearing red jerseys, but that brings up a 3rd down and 10. And if Wadsworth could stop Midview here, they've got plenty of time to go in for the tying touchdown before the half.
Elwell has completed 57% of his passes, that not being one of them. Boron in motion, and they're going to throw it again. Gerber catches it. And
nice
Steve Robertson is there to meet him and bring him down at the 32.
Good play by Steve. He played off just a little bit when the ball was coming up, came and made a sure hit to make sure he was stopped short of the first down. So it's going to bring up a 4th down and 4. So Midview is going to have to punt the ball, I believe.
Yes, Elwell, the quarterback slash punter, standing at his own 21 to receive the snap. Moeller came in, almost got a hand on it as the ball bounced. That was a real shallow kick. I think Elwell was just intimidated by Tony Moeller coming in to attempt to block it. He didn't. The kick was just straight up in the air and then straight down. Grizzlies take over in Midview territory, the 49.
No, not the 49, the 44. That was only a 20-yard punt. No, not a 20-yard punt, about 11-yard punt is all that was. 12, 13-yard punt. So Wadsworth takes over excellent field position on the 45-yard line. And if they can push the ball down and score before the half is over, it's going to be anybody's game coming out in the second half.
Although they could score in one play. We've seen that from this far,
so
too.
So could Midview.
Hoover rolling to his right, looking downfield for Brink. Makes the catch at the 25 and rolls out of bounds.
I think they're going to rule him down before he's out of bounds. Nope, they're calling him out of bounds.
Chris Brink just reaching those long arms of his out to make the catch. Chris Brink, a big factor here in the first half for the Grizzlies.
That's a 22-yard completion down to the 24-yard line. And Brink has been running some nice patterns, and that's 87 yards, I believe, for Brink receiving.
Now Hoover looking for Copeland on the slant. Makes the catch inside the 5. You could see that one developing as Copeland just got a step ahead of his defender and slanted into the middle of the field, and what a pass by Mike Hoover.
Well, as we were talking early on, this is what Midview hasn't seen all year. They might have seen defenses like Wadsworth, maybe not quite as good, but I don't think they've played against, I know they haven't played against a team that can a strike so quick with so many weapons as Wadsworth does.
And Tricome bounces off the line, goes into the corner of the end zone for his 13th touchdown of the season.
I was looking at Hoover, and I had to laugh at that. He handed the ball off to Tricome, and Tricome hit this big pile at the line, and as soon as Tricome looked up, he was 5 yards back in the field, and Hoover threw his hands up, touchdown, and right at that, Tricome busted to the outside and scored.
He saw all the open room there off to the near side of the field.
And he knew as soon as Tricome saw it, it was all over, and he just kind of walked into the end zone after bouncing off that pile.
Sam Galpert's extra point is up and good. Tie ball game with 3:56 left in the first half.
Well, I think by now that each team knows what the other team can do. It's a question of who's going to be able to stop who at this particular point. That was a very nice drive by Wadsworth. What was it, 3 plays?
Yeah, catch by Brink, catch by Copeland, touchdown Joe Tricome.
Wasn't there one incomplete pass in that? Might have been 4, but anyhow, it was still a beautiful drive. And the Wadsworth passing game is starting to click now like they were in the first 5 games of the season. And they're looking pretty impressive. And that should be a big lift. Now, if they can hold them and go in and tied or better, we're going to be in good shape. Here's the stats on Hoover. Thrown the ball 13 times, 5 completions, 101 yards, a TD, and the 1 interception. Wadsworth has 10 first downs. Chris Brink, 4 catches for 87 yards, and Adam Copeland, 3 catches for 36 yards.
Galpert kicks it off. Line drive kick. Boron picks it up. The 20, the 25, the 30, and down at the 35 is Brett Boron.
Pat McCarthy made the tackle, but what happened is he ran into his own man and got slowed down just enough for McCarthy to make the tackle. Believe me, that one almost went all the way. So fortunately, Wadsworth manages to stop 1st and 10 on the 35-yard line, as you see, with 3 minutes and 49 seconds to go.
.6'6" Elwell under center, hands it to Gerber, and Gerber is tackled at the 37.
That was a nice play by Tony Moeller. Got in there, and even though he did make the tackle and Gerber managed to slip away, he slowed it down till the rest of the Grizzlies could get there. So that will bring up the 2nd down and 8.
Second and 8, ball on the 37 of the Midview Middies. Grizzlies stacking the line. Elwell, little screen pass out to Rosansky. Rosansky to the 40, the 45, barrels his way to the 48.
That Rosansky is a load. When he gets the ball and gets up ahead of steam, it's tough to bring him down. That was just a little flip pass. I don't even know if it was a screen or not, just a pass out of the backfield. And a nice thing for Midview on that is the wide receivers did a good job of blocking the Wadsworth corner and safety, and that's what opened it up for that 11-yard gain. So first down, Midview on the 48. For what it's worth, both teams have all of their timeouts left. So I think it's more important to Midview because with their running game, they might have to stop the clock, but they both have the timeouts left to go. So the ref winds up the clock, and we're going with under 3 minutes to play. Ball on the 48.
Fake handoff. Strong pass down the middle of the field, caught by Gerber. Just a line drive pass.
Vu just made the tackle. But that was a 22-yard pass. And I think Wadsworth was taken a little bit by surprise there, because this is not known as a passing team. We know the numbers for Elwell are good, but yet you don't know in what situation he's throwing the ball. I mean, are they way ahead or what's going on? But a couple of passes I've seen him throw, I've been impressed with his throwing.
Hand off to Boron this time.
Chris Brink made the tackle and moves the ball down to the 31 or 32-yard line. They're spotting the ball on the 32. Clock still running, with to be under 2 minutes to go. So defense needs to make a big play here.
Elwell gonna throw again. And it's intercepted by Pat McCarthy.
Good job, good job.
He just turned around. Elwell really can fire the ball on a line
He fired
drive
the ball,
string.
and what happened was the wide receiver was breaking just across the middle down like a deep post pattern. Right, a deep post pattern, and McCarthy just turned around. The ball was way underthrown, and McCarthy made the catch. So 1:51 to go. Wadsworth has got the ball on the 20-yard line. See if they go for it all or run out the clock. I have a hunch I know what they're going to do.
Pat McCarthy, that was his first interception on the season. Hoover dropping back. Finds Tricomi, who jumps up and tips it out of bounds. Let's go down to the sideline to Jeff Jenkins.
Hey, John, Jeff down on the field. Steve Robertson left the game. Looked like he might have a separated shoulder. Just got a little stinger in it. He'll be back. They're down here working on him. Back up to you guys.
Well, Steve Robertson, I talked to him like every day he comes to class late. I said, where are you at? Rehab. Well, what are you doing? And he says, well, I'm trying to do this. His shoulder is never healed from the like quasi-separation he had several weeks ago.
Hoover rolling to his right, looking, and has to throw it out of bounds before he's sacked. Ben Osterland was near the ball, but nowhere near to catch it.
He just threw that one away. The thing that Robertson says he has a rotator cuff injury that makes it very easy for his shoulder to go out, and then it comes back in again. So as you were saying, Jeff, he'll probably be back in maybe in the second half. So it's kind of interesting here. Wadsworth has 3rd down and 10. They elected to go for the score, and in doing that, they haven't taken any time off the clock. And if they don't get a 1st and 10 here, they're going to turn it back over to Midview with a lot of time left to run the ball in for a touchdown.
Hoover, straight drop back, over the middle of the field, jumped up, caught by Copeland. First down, Grizzlies.
Referees call a timeout to move the chain.
Adam Copeland making some big catches here in the first half for Wadsworth.
And Wadsworth calls a timeout, and that's their first timeout. It's a good timeout, as they're going to talk it over and see what they want to do.
Larry, the Shelby Whippets made the playoffs.
Yeah, I was talking about that before. They're playing Columbus Bishop Watterson even as we speak. And to be perfectly honest with you, Watterson is ranked, I think, number 1 or number 2 in Division III. They're way up there along with Copley. So I don't hold out a lot of hope for the Whippets moving on, but you can always cheer and hope they do.
Let's take a minute and look at the final standings in the Suburban League, Larry. We know Copley won at the top, 10-0, 7-0 undefeated league season. Grizzlies finished in 2nd place, 9-1, 6-1. And Revere, we mentioned, dropped out of the playoffs. Finished 7-3 and 5-2 in the league. And what happened with Revere was a couple teams below them in the points won some big games that vaulted them over the top.
Yeah, I didn't think it could. The big one was when Nordonia beat Mayfield. Mayfield was heavily favored in that game. A very good team, and Nordonia beat them to vault ahead of Revere.
Hoover going to pass it again, long downfield. And intended for Brink.
Flag.
There's a flag. Was it on Brink or was it on Doug Gerber, who was guarding Brink?
You don't see offensive pass interference very often, but we saw it in the first quarter, and let's see which way this one's going to go.
It looked
pass
like
interference on Midview. And in high school ball, it's a 15-yard penalty. It doesn't matter how far the ball was thrown. So they're going to move the ball up to the 46-yard line of Wadsworth, where Wadsworth will have a 1st and 10. I'll be honest with you, I didn't see that. I wasn't watching downfield. I was watching the quarterback. It's only the 2nd penalty on Midview. And some of the Midview players back deep in the secondary talking to the referee or the back judge about what it was all about. And the Midview fans, by the way, Midview has brought a slew of people here tonight. The far bleachers are just loaded with people dressed in blue, are not too happy with that call.
1:27 to go. There's our ground camera, Larry. I just saw it on the screen. Draw play to Joe Tricome. All kinds of room to run at the 40, the 35, pushed out of bounds. That play has worked very well for the Grizzlies in the past few games, and you just saw it there. Just a little opening.
Now we have instant replay. And watch this as Tricome. The draw play works where just a straight handoff doesn't. Got a little bit of a crease, cuts it outside, and I think that's about an 18-yard pickup for Tricome. And gets pushed out of bounds.
Hoover dropping back again. Slant pattern run by Copeland. He just puts the arm up and it's out of his reach.
Well, it's the only fault that I found with Hoover tonight. He's throwing the ball just a little bit too strong. Now, Copeland was covered on that play. And Hoover threw it where if Copeland wasn't going to catch it, nobody was. But that'll bring up a 2nd down and 10 on the 35-yard line. Wadsworth, they've got 1:14 to go. They would really like to push one in here and put Midview down at halftime.
I really want to apologize to everybody not having the instant replays. I know a lot of people really like that feature on our telecasts.
I like it.
Hoover just going to loft one up for Vujis. He looks up and the pass is out of bounds. So glad to have that back, Larry. It's
a nice plus, really is.
And you really can see some things you don't see at first.
I'll tell you what's happened the last 2 plays. There's a flag on the play, by the way. Wadsworth is opt to go for it all the first 2 plays. And I see Hoover clapping his hands like it's going to be on the defense. And let's see what they call.
There's 1:09 left in the first half, as you see on the clock on your screen.
Still haven't seen a signal yet, but the Midview Middies are moving back, and they're marching the ball off against them. It's a 10-yard penalty, so that's got to be a holding penalty. Let's see what the referees call.
Still conferring.
I didn't see anything. I'm going to assume that they were holding the wide receiver down the bottom of the screen on this side because that's where the flag came in. So Wadsworth has a 1st and 10 on the 25.
And Adam Copeland split left. Osterland short side of the field. Hoover dropping back again, looking for his target. Copeland makes the catch. Still not down. Flag thrown.
That's going to be a face mask on Midview. Great catch by Copeland. Some great running, and somewhere along the line, in came the face mask. And if that's correct when it's all over, Wadsworth is going to have the ball on about the 5-yard line. Watch Copeland right across the middle. Beautiful throw. And he juggles the ball, then hang on to it. Great move there. Shrugs the tackler there. Now watch right here. That's going to be the face mask right there. And they're going to tack on a half the distance penalty. So the ball gets moved down to the 7-yard line. So it's going to be 1st and goal for Wadsworth on the 7. And this has been an impressive drive by Wadsworth. They took over the ball with what, 1:30 to go or something like that. And in 29 seconds, they've moved down the field. Now, granted, they were helped by 2 penalties, but they're still putting the ball where they have to at this particular point in time.
Hoover fade into the corner to Vujis, and he jumped up and
all the Wadsworth fans are looking for a flag on that play. They thought he might have been pushed, and when he went up,
he would have made the catch, but the defender was right there.
It was either an interference or really great defense. So we're going to call that one really great defense by the defender to just hit Vujis as the ball was coming down. So you can see 56 seconds to go. Going to be 2nd down and 7 for Wadsworth.
High formation, Bowler at fullback, 2 receivers to the left of the line. Hoover going to roll that way, looking for one. And they're all covered. He flips it into the end zone and wisely throws it out of bounds.
Just threw the ball away. There was good coverage on the play. He was being pursued a couple times tonight. He's run that rollout, and there's nobody in front of him. He's picked up good yardage, but that time a lineman and also a linebacker were between him and the goal line, so it was a wise decision not to try to run the ball. Wadsworth has 2 timeouts left, so if they want to run the ball here, they could stop the clock and still get the field goal. Of course, they got plenty of time even if they don't have to stop the clock. Big third down play, 3rd and 7 for Wadsworth on the 7.
Vujis and Copeland again to the left. Hoover now looking to the right. Brink is double covered. Vujis is
incomplete to Vujis.
Again, the defender right on Vujis.
That's been some pretty good defense. You watch Hoover, he starts to roll one way, rolls back the other way. Now he's looking for Vujis in the end zone, throws the ball, and you can see good defense as the defender come in and just knock the ball away. So Wadsworth is going to try a field goal to go up here at halftime by a score of 17-14. It's going to be a 24-yard field goal.
Sam Galpert, 5 made field goals on the season and make it 6. 6th field goal of the season for the senior Sam Galpert. And with 44 seconds to go in the first half, Grizzlies up by 3, 17-14.
So as I was saying, this is something that Midview hasn't seen before. I mean, they give Wadsworth the ball with a minute and some seconds to go, a minute and 30 seconds to go. I don't think they've seen a team all year that can march down the field the way we do and score. And if this score holds up, and kind of got to assume that it's going to, this will be the first time all year that Midview's gone in trailing at halftime. So it's going to be interesting to see what it does to them psychologically. I mean, Wadsworth has been in the position game after game where they've been down and come back, and score quick. Midview, this is new territory for them.
Coach Brian Madigan on your screen. Coach Robinson. Grizzlies averaging 33.5 points a game. And they're right on pace to hit that.
Don't be surprised if Galpert, when he kicks this ball, just rolls it down the field, because the last thing in the world they want is a big run back. And on the first couple of kickoffs, Midview has shown that they can move the ball downfield on the kickoff returns. That opening kickoff that was run back 50-some yards before the fumble be enough to scare anybody.
And Galpert does squib it. One of the up men picks it up. Number 32 is Josh Hengartner.
And Hengartner returned the ball 13 yards, but that's exactly what Wadsworth wanted to do. They'll give him the ball on the 40-yard line. They just didn't want to risk the big run back. So let's see what Midview does with 37 seconds left. Are they going to try a fancy running play? They're going to run their standard running plays? Or they're going to try to throw the ball?
I would say you play back, give them the short yardage, and watch the run.
Yeah, I would think that they wouldn't do anything too fancy, because throwing the ball there, the last thing they want is an interception now, because Wadsworth with 37 seconds to go could march in and score another one.
Just saw Coach Dennison there on your screen. And a play is run by number 22, Doug Gerber, as the clock continues to run. Greg Dennison's 36-15 in his 5th year here at Wadsworth.
Nobody's calling a timeout. Now Midview calls a timeout. That's strange, because they lost about 10 seconds after the play was over. They gained 5 yards on the play, but that's kind of insignificant with 24 seconds to go.
What kind of winning percentage is that, Larry?
What is it?
36-15.
36 and 15. That's about 71%.
Pretty good.
69%.
That's why you're a physics teacher and I'm not.
68.8325771.6%. Is that close enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Midview High School football team, running back Brett Boron. One of my favorite elements. What's the symbol for boron?
B.
Thank you.
Atomic number 5, total mass. Boron 10, boron 11. Composite mass 10.81.
I understand.
Good. By the way, if any of you people have periodic tables at home, you can check that and you'll find out I was right.
Well, Larry, we know you're right about that. When we guess on these football games, usually we're not. Elwell gonna throw it long, downfield, Very many Grizzlies down there, and it's just out of bounds, incomplete, 17 seconds to go.
Well, last Sunday the Browns won on that, but it didn't happen this time. He wasn't throwing to receiver. He was just throwing the ball up in the air. One of the problems being on the 45-yard line, you can't get the ball in the end zone. So even if the pass had been caught, they were going to be 20 yards short of the end zone. And the Wadsworth defenders did a real good job. They just ran down the field, stayed behind the defenders, forced them to the sidelines, and just let the ball land where it may. Just no contact, don't hit anybody. So that's a 3rd and 5.
Nice show of arm strength there, though, by Elwell. Got some air under it and threw it long.
And he's throwing into the wind in this quarter, too. So that, he's a big kid.
There's Rosansky just plowing his way through Wadsworth defenders all the way to the 35. He's like a train going through there.
A 20-yard pickup. The ball's going to be on the 35-yard line. I think Midview is going to call a timeout. They have a couple left. 35 yards, of course, is way out of field goal range, particularly since they're going to be kicking into the wind. Kind of a swirling wind, but it's basically blowing from left to right. But with 8.5 seconds to go, they can get 2 plays off here, particularly since they have that other timeout. Well, I'll tell you, the last minute and a half of this game has taken like all night with Wadsworth going down and scoring, and now Midview mounting this drive of their own. You talk about a big psychological boost. If Midview could get in and take the lead after being down with 37 seconds to go in the half, that would be huge. So I hope the Wadsworth defense can pick it up here and stop.
Tonight's winner faces either Piqua or White House Anthony Wayne next Friday at a site yet to be determined.
Talking to some of the coaches at school, if they play Piqua, the stadium they're talking about is Dublin Scioto High School, which is just northwest of Columbus. That might be a place where these teams could play.
Elwell looking to throw over the middle, intercepted. Ben Vugis takes it to the 20, the 25, the 30, and he's brought out of bounds as the clock goes to 0. And at the half, the Grizzlies will have the 3-point lead. Ben Vugis' second interception of the season. At the half, Wadsworth 17, Midview 14. We'll tally our statistics. You'll watch the band, and then we'll be back. back at Artwright Stadium for the start of the second half. And it's a packed to the gills house here. And Larry Varner has the first half statistics.
Well, Wadsworth, it's been the Hoover, Brink, and Copeland show. Hoover has thrown 28 passes, 11 completions, 182 yards, and 1 TD. Joe Tricome, 13 carries, only 26 yards, but one of them was a big 5-yard touchdown run. He was stopped early on when they were trying to run him through the line, but on a couple of draw plays, he picked up some pretty good yardage. Galpert's having another, well, typical Matt Galpert night, a field goal and 2-point after touchdown. He's done everything he's supposed to do. And Wadsworth has 15 first downs. The only negative part is Wadsworth stats is they've had 5 penalties for 20 yards. And it's gone pretty much the way that we thought it would. I'm sorry, Sam Galpert, not Matt Galpert. As far as Midview is concerned, their whole fort has been rushing. Boron, 2 carries, 57 yards. Brzezinski, 11 carries for 79 yards. Gerber is the one who's been really doing the damage. 5 carries, but 80 yards and 2 TDs. The quarterback, Elwell, has attempted 6 passes, 2 completions, and 2 interceptions. And they've been penalized 3 times for 30 yards. And 2 of those penalties were on the last scoring drive for Wadsworth. Big plays there. Interesting, Elwell's only thrown 4 interceptions all year. He's thrown 2 already tonight. And psychologically, Wadsworth has to feel pretty good about themselves. I mean, they've shown that they've gotten over the big loss to Copley. They've got Midview down. And Midview, of course, hasn't trailed at halftime all year. So Wadsworth also, they received the second half kickoff, so they've got everything going for them right now.
Monshine kicks it to Osterlund, who drops it, then picks it up. And he fumbles the ball. It was popped out of his hands at the 14, but the Grizzlies did recover.
Boy, you want to talk something about could have swung momentum real quick. There it was, but Wadsworth got the ball back. So Wadsworth will take over, leading 17-14, as you see on your screen. Ball's being marked on the 25-yard line. And I have a hunch Wadsworth is going to come out and just keep throwing and throwing and throwing, because that's what's worked for him in the first half. And so they run.
And Joe Tricome's met at the line. It's fumbled, and he picks it up. But he's still tackled a little behind the line of scrimmage, actually.
Actually, a loss of about 3. That's going to bring up 2nd down and 13. And that's what happened in the first half. When they try to run Tricome up the middle, those linebackers for Midview are very active and very hard hitters, so they're waiting for him. And that's 2 times in the first 2 plays that Wadsworth has really dodged bullets. They fumbled the ball twice deep in their own territory. You don't want to do that.
Hoover rolling to his left. Flips it out to Vujis, who makes a running, diving catch at the 38.
And that's a first down. It'll be a pickup of about 16 yards, and he made the first down by 3. And you watch Hoover rolling to his left and throwing. That's very difficult for a right-handed quarterback to do. And when he throws that ball, he kind of throws it sidearm. He looks like one of those old Bernie Kosar passes. He's not coming over the top, just slings it sidearm. He's so strong, he can get all that steam on the ball, throwing the ball like that.
Ben Osterlund, the man in motion. Hand off to Joe Tricome, and he's just brought down hard. Number 55, Tim Hopkins, a senior defensive tackle.
So you watch the play, there's just nothing there as the linebackers come up and make the play. As you say, Tim Hopkins was in on the hit. So that's going to be no gain. It's going to be 2nd and 10. And you wonder how long Wadsworth's going to try to run that middle, because it just hasn't worked all night, except on the draw play. They've gotten some yardage on that.
Hoover rolling to his right. Looking, going to throw it to Vujis. Thrown out of bounds and too high, incomplete.
Well, that ball was uncatchable. It was thrown out of bounds, and good coverage by Midview. Vujis was not open on the play, and once again, Hoover threw the ball where either Vujis was going to catch it or nobody was going to catch it. He didn't want to rush the interception. So that's going to bring up a 3rd down and 10 on the 36-yard.
First round of the Division II state playoffs here on a very nice Friday evening in Wadsworth. A couple of radio stations here tonight.
The press box is full.
Grafton Cable also here. Hoover takes it out of the shotgun, drills it down the middle of the field, and it was caught, it looks like.
He never had the ball. Never had the ball at all.
Well, when he fell to the ground, it looks like he had a cradle on it.
He didn't have the ball in his arms when he fell. If you watch this, the ball's just going to bounce behind, like right there. This is Wadsworth's first punt of the night.
Justin Blackburn in the punt. Of course, the main punter for the Grizzlies all season has been Tony Moeller, but with that injured foot, Blackburn, the sophomore JV punter, and a deep spiraling kick fielded by Scott McCoy.
Jake McElvain was there to take him down, and that was good to see a punt like that. Wadsworth needed it, drove Midview way back. As you watch this, watch McElvain, tries to cut inside him, but there's Jake to make the tackle. So Midview takes over first possession in the second half on the 27-yard line, 1st and 10.
And Scott McCoy is the main punt returner for the Midview Middies. Averages 13 yards per punt return.
Yeah, you talk about those 2 fumbles Wadsworth had in that last series. I'm surprised with the convoluted, if you will, offense that Midview runs, that they don't turn the ball over more. Good handling by the quarterback.
And ball carrier was Dan Rosansky. He got nowhere on that play.
And the Wadsworth Lions just stepped up and made the tackle. But we know that Elwell is a very good handling ball quarterback. And you can't do the kind of offense they do unless you do a good job of getting the ball to the people who are going to run it. That's going to bring up a second down. They actually say he lost a yard, so it's going to be 2nd and 11 on the 26.
And Elwell runs into one of his backs, and he's being pressured. He just has to throw it away. An incomplete pass. Elwell smartly got rid of the ball, and luckily it wasn't intercepted.
I don't know what that was, but it wasn't what it was supposed to be. And like you say, Elwell did a good job just getting rid of the ball rather than being sacked for what would have been about a 15-yard loss. So it brings up 3rd down and 11 for Midview. Tell you, they're taking a lot of time getting this play in. They've run a couple players in, and they're not careful. They're going to get a delay of game.
And Elwell has to call a timeout.
The clock was running down, and he didn't want to lose the 5 yards. What happened there is there were 2 players come in, one bringing a play and another as a substitute, and they didn't get in time. And when Elwell got up to the line of scrimmage, I don't think he knew that everybody wasn't on the same page, so he called a timeout. And when you've got a primarily oriented running game like Midview does, those timeouts are very important towards the end of the game. So having to burn one with only 3 minutes gone in the 3rd quarter, that could be big further on down the line. One of the coaches out talking things over with the Wadsworth defense. And trainers have gone off the field for Midview. That'd be at 3rd and 11 on the 25.
It's Don Robinson, the defensive coach for the Grizzlies.
So here comes Midview up, and it looked like Robertson, was going to be in there on the play on defense.
Pass is going to be made, but Elwell is sacked by the Grizzlies. Formaz and Dietrich there.
Well, that was one of those, it just took too long to develop as you watch. He's going back. But the Wadsworth defense, they had to get rid of the ball there, and he did. There's Dietrich. Brink was in on the play. And they brought him down. And so going to have to punt from deep in their own territory. And Wadsworth, with any kind of luck, is going to get the ball in good field position. Tracomie's back to receive the punt.
Tracomie standing at the Wadsworth 45. High kick. Tracomie going to take it. Running away from the defenders, and at midfield is where the Grizzlies will start, 1st and 10.
It was only a 5-yard return, but there really wasn't much there. The punt was so high that the defenders got down to cover. As you can see, Tracomie gets the ball, and oops, defender there, oops, defender there. And I think he just kind of sat down with the ball at this point because no sense taking a chance on a fumble. But Wadsworth gets the ball on the 49-yard line, good field position. And See if they can push one in here. And I think a 10-point lead at this point would be pretty big.
Mike Hoover again rolling out. Wide open is Nate Stone at the 45, the 40, and the 35.
That was a nice call. Well, Stone is the up back in the I formation with a fullback. And when he came out of the backfield, there was nobody on Midview covering him at all. Just came down the bottom of the screen right there. There's nobody around him. Just a little flip and gathers the ball in. Made sure he had it before he started running. And watch this at the end. He puts a hit on the defender as well as the other way around. So it's a nice 15, 16-yard pickup, and Wadsworth has the ball, 1st and 10 on the 35.
Draw play to Joe Tricome. There it works again for the Grizzlies, and he takes it to the 27 of Midview.
You see that happening quite a bit. The draw works when you've got these hard-charging linebackers because they don't read, or they read that there's going to be no run at the line of scrimmage, and then they just take off. They're coming after Hoover, and it leaves the thing open for a draw play, and that's an awfully good call. And I think all the yardage that Tricome's got tonight has been on draw plays, except for that touchdown run where he bounced off the pile and went into the end zone. So it's a gain of 8 yards, 2nd and 2.
Ben Vugis in motion. Hoover rolling that way to the left. There's Vugis. Makes the catch. Touchdown by Vugis.
Oh, my.
Vugis was step for step with the defender.
I swore that ball was intercepted.
He got a step away from him, just turned around, and Hoover just perfectly placed it in his chest.
Okay, there's Hoover throwing the ball. Watch this catch by Vugis. Catches it, does a 360 and into the end zone. Oh, my. The 27-yard touchdown pass of Galpert on to make the extra point.
And that pass, the Midview line jumps on the extra point attempt. The pass was behind Vugis. He kind of just reached behind the defender's back and made the catch and skipped into the end zone.
Well, when I saw that pass go, my first thought was incomplete. My second one was intercepted, and then it's a touchdown. That was a great play. That was a truly great play. Half the distance penalty on Midview. Wadsworth declines because Galpert's already set up to kick the ball from that comfortable spot.
Sam Galpert's 32nd extra point is good. 24-14 with 7:18 to go in the 3rd quarter.
And the Wadsworth Grizzly fans are on their feet here. And I think they can sense that the momentum is really swung to the Wadsworth side of the ball. Not only the touchdown, but how they stopped Midview down deep on 4 plays the last time where they gained like no yards and sacked the quarterback. This is looking very positive for Wadsworth at this point in time. Of course, they've got a long way to go. I mean, over a quarter and a half to play. But again, Midview hasn't been in this situation all year, where not only are they trailing, now they're trailing by 2 scores. Some stats for you for as far as Mike Hoover is concerned. 33 attempts, 13 completions, 243 yards, and 2 TDs. And this looks like the Mike Hoover that we saw the first 5 games of the year. Tricome hasn't got that many yards rushing, but when he runs a draw play, he's picking up effective yards. 6 here, 8 there.
Wadsworth Grizzly football sponsored by Kovac Realtors. They're located at 157 Great Oaks Trail. 336-8883 is the phone number.
Galpert kicks the ball deep.
2 people there to get it, and it's finally picked up by Boron. Takes it to the 25.
So Midview will start there on the 25, trailing by 10. And see if the Wadsworth defense can step up once again like they did last time.
The Midview Middies, number 11 in the Division II state poll, they also received 1 first-place vote.
I think this is the only week they did, kind of like a courtesy at the end of the season from one of the writers.
Local writers, yeah. In a reverse play, Boron hands it to Gerber, and it works greatly. The speed of Gerber takes him to midfield. The 45 spins out of a couple tackles, finally pushed out of bounds hard by Chris Brink.
Well, I think Midview just showed they're not out of the game yet. What was interesting about that reverse, when you think about a reverse, you usually think of a deep handoff. That one was very close to the line of scrimmage. I've never seen a play like that. Talk about excellent ball handling by everybody concerned. That's a tough play to run without fumbling the ball. Fortunately, the Wadsworth defenders were fast enough to catch. That was a 37-yard pickup, and Midview's in business on the 39-yard line, 1st and 10. It's 127 yards rushing.
And Boron gets it this time, and Vujis is there to tackle him along with Matt Delnos at the 20 of Wadsworth.
So just when you think maybe Midview might be down or reeling just a little bit, they come back with those 2 big runs. It's another 20-yard pickup. So Wadsworth is kind of looking things over. See Delnos there calling signals, trying to figure out what's going on, how we're going to stop this. This is a very impressive drive by Midview.
This time Rudzansky gets it, barrels to the 10. Inside the 10-yard line at the 7 is Dan Rudzansky, the 230-pound fullback.
And that was a 14-yard carry, and he was like a truck coming through that hole. They're spotting the ball, I think, on the 7-yard line. So Midview coming right back as a 1st and goal to go on the 7. And boy, for just a plain old running game, they've got more wrinkles in this thing. You know, more backs going more directions, more counters, more traps. It is difficult for the Wadsworth defenders to fill all the holes.
Elwell, quick handoff, and Rudzansky just bounced off the line and fell back. Matt
Delnos made quite a hit, and he came up swinging the arm going, yeah. And it was good that they needed a big hit like that and a big stop. Because they've just been running through Wadsworth like they're not there.
Delnos leads the Grizzlies in solo tackles.
Bring up a 2nd and 7. Sometimes it's a little harder to run down there because the field gets kind of short. You got your defensive backs playing up tight because you're not going to go deep.
And this handoff goes to Boron. Brett Boron in for a touchdown. Just one of those kind of trick running plays where one halfback goes one way, the other way. Fullback plows up the middle and just around the left end. Boron sped in for a Midview touchdown, 24-20.
And it looks like this game is going to go down to the wire. I was kind of hoping that Wadsworth could come out, particularly after that touchdown and stop, and really shut Midview down. But I guess they're too good a football team to let that happen. So we're going to have the extra point try to make it a 24-21 game.
Jason Monshine. Extra point attempt is right there. So the Grizzlies now lead only by the field goal, 24-21 with 5:22 to go, 3rd quarter.
This is starting to take on the aspects of a track meet here, you know, where you have the discus and the javelin on Wadsworth side, and you've got the sprinters on the Midview side running up and down the field.
There's some Wadsworth fans.
I was looking around at halftime, the crowd. If I had to guess, I'd say there's about 6,500 to 7,000 people here. Not as many as there were for the Concord game last week, where they figured they had 8,500. But it's a really nice crowd, and across the field there, Midview has brought quite a contingent of people. Of course, Midview's not too far from here. It's about maybe a 45-minute ride, and for playoff-type situations, that isn't all that far.
Osterland and Tricome standing at the 10-yard line of Wadsworth to receive a kick from Monshine. And he just kind of loops it up in the air. Fair catch being called by Adam Copeland at the 30, where the Grizzlies will start 1st and 10, about the 29.
An interesting point, Wadsworth could kick the ball here. It would be a free kick. And sometimes you see something like that happen if it's around midfield. You can actually kick a field goal. This is like in the pros. Wadsworth's obviously going to just take the ball and go on offense. But they had a free kick at that point if they wanted it. We'll see if Wadsworth can strike back here.
Hoover again rolling out. Finds Chris Brink. He's wrapped up around the ankles by number 36 of the Middies, Ryan DeFranco, a captain on the Midview team.
Well, what it's coming down to is we can't stop their running. They can't stop our passing, so people are just scoring at will. I think the game's going to turn on which defense actually steps up and makes the big play.
Now Mike Hoover gives a reverse to Vujis. Vujis is going to pass it downfield, and it's almost intercepted by DeFranco. Hoover just handed it to Vujis in the backfield. Vujis, of course, the backup quarterback, with Jeff Hanna being out with an injury. And didn't quite work out how the Grizzlies wanted, and luckily wasn't intercepted.
Well, Wadsworth hasn't shown much razzle-dazzle like that this year, but they tried it there, and it didn't work, so it brings up a 2nd down and 10. And Wadsworth was very lucky that that ball was not intercepted.
High formation for the Grizzlies. Fake handoff. Hoover looking to the left. Finds Osterland, who makes the catch at the 42.
Wide open was Osterland. Caught the ball about a 12, 13-yard pickup. Another 1st and 10 for Wadsworth. There's the fake handoff. Good block by number 45. Good block by 51 for the Grizzlies. And then the pass. Osterland, 1st down.
Matt Delnos on the block there for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, they've been doing a real good job considering how their linebackers come and keeping the people off Hoover and giving them time to throw the ball. Credit to the Wadsworth line for doing that.
Draw play, Tricome gets through the line and some more at the 35, around end of the 30, the 25, the 20, tackled at the 15. The draw play again, Larry.
Yeah, it's the only one that's been working for Wadsworth all night is the draw play. And I'll tell you, he had some good downfield blocking. Number 9 for Wadsworth was down there. Ben Vujis that threw a little bit of a block, not a crushing block, but enough to keep it rolling and takes it down to the 14, 13-yard line.
That one,
so it's 1st and 10 Wadsworth on a 29-yard run by Joe Tricome.
That one looked like it almost would get broken up, and Tricome just found the hole and shot through there. Fake pitch there by Hoover. Now he rolls to his right, needs some help, and he throws it almost into the end zone to Osterland. The defender, number 22, batted away, Doug Gerber.
This is one where it looked good at the beginning, where you fake the ball, fake the pitch. Now Hoover's going to come back this way. The receiver wasn't open, rolls. Now he's just trying to buy time as receivers run around. He's going to get hit here, almost driven out of bounds, and then throws the ball, and he was lucky it wasn't intercepted.
2nd and 10, ball lays on the 13 of Midview. Roll out to the left for Hoover. There's Copeland, that corner run end zone, and
Hoover wanted interference on the play, and they didn't get it.
Well,
Copeland was wide open, and then he went down. I don't know if he was hit or not, but this looked almost like a sure touchdown, because you see Hoover, and he spots Copeland in the end zone. There goes the ball, but you watch Copeland's on the ground, and
the pass looked to be tipped there around the 5, Larry, before it went into the end zone. We've seen that play run a lot by the Grizzly offense, where Copeland just runs straight into the end zone, and there's no one to his left, and he just turns that way with the defender behind him.
This is a big play for Wadsworth. It's 3rd and 10.
And Hoover throws it low to Ben Vujis. And it'll have to be a field goal attempt, the 2nd field goal attempt of the night for Sam Galpert. His first one was good, and that's the 3-point difference you see on the screen right now.
This is going to be a little bit longer field goal. It's going to be from the right hash mark, and it's going to be about 31 yards where they're setting up. Galpert's got the leg for that.
Galpert with 6 field goals on the season, looking for number 7 and a 6-point lead right here. It's up, and it is good.
Just crawled over the bar.
Sam Galpert comes through big again for the Grizzlies. Field goal number 7, score 27-21 with 3:34 to go in the third.
Of course, every kick that he makes, he adds to his own record of points scored for the Grizzlies. But the problem we have now is, okay, they scored the field goal. They're up 27-21. Somehow, this defense has got to stop the Middies' running game. And if not, it's still going to be a long night. So this would be a good place to stop them down deep, something like that. I hope that they can keep making the adjustments and make it possible to stop them down there. Well, and we'll see too if Galpert kicks the ball deep or if he just kind of rolls it down the middle.
This type of intense playoff game, Larry, the consistent Sam Galpert really hasn't been needed too much in the late periods of the game. This may be a game where it's nice to have a consistent kicker like Sam. He may be called on to make a big
you're
field
right.
goal.
With all the extra points and everything, I don't think any of them have won a game. I mean, like, it's down to this is it, you got to win it. That's never happened.
Bounces at the 15, picked up by number 24, Andrew Blazek, and he's tackled at the 36.
It was Tony Moeller that made the tackle, but as you watch Moeller come in, the running back almost breaks it to the outside here. And just as he is getting through, there's Moeller and other Wadsworth tacklers on the play. Number 4 was Steve Robertson was in there. But they get the ball in halfway decent field position on the 36-yard line. So see if the Wadsworth defense can step up.
Elwell, the give to number 44, Dan Rosansky.
Boy, is he a bull. I mean, he was hit in the backfield and just spun away and was dragging a tackler before he got hit by 2 more Grizzlies and actually turned a loss into a couple-yard gain. Watch this. There's the hit right there. And number 71, Jeff Dietrich, is not a small person, but he just keeps dragging forward till he finally picked up 2. So it's going to be a second down, 8 to go. As you can see, 3 minutes to go in the third quarter.
I think it took someone closer to his size and Chris Brink to bring him down. Elwell, the give to Gerber. Gerber tries to pick up that speed and get around the end. But
Jake McElvain was there. Came up from the safety spot to make the tackle. So watch this. This one doesn't look good. There's 4 Wadsworth defenders over there. And you can see there's McElvain coming in making the tackle. That's a big hit. That's a loss of 3. Brings up a 3rd and 11. But this is when they've been so dangerous on these third down carries, particularly in short yardage where the Wadsworth defense is up to stop short. Now they're going to play it a little looser this time.
Grizzly fans stomping their feet.
Another reverse.
And this time, number 22, Gerber, just has a ton of speed. Takes it to the 30. He's going to get a Midview touchdown on a tremendous run. Tying the ball game at 27.
It was a 65-yard run, and what they did that time was the same thing they did before. They did a little reverse handoff close to the line of scrimmage, and when Gerber busted through, he just outran everybody. And I'll tell you another thing that's impressing me about these running backs is how they manage to break tackles. I mean, they're hit, and they just break loose.
And now we see why their backs average over 10 yards per carry.
Yeah.
Runs like that.
They get 1 yard, no yards, then 70 yards, and it comes out to 10 yards a carry.
Monshine to put the Middies up by 1. He does, 28-27. Midview with the lead, 1:52 to go in the third. And it's becoming a shootout here at Artright Stadium.
Well, when I was thinking about this game today, I kind of had a feeling that 28 points would win it. I didn't think the game would be all that high scoring. But wow, the way things are going, it's going to take 45 points to win the game. It's 190 yards for Gerber so far. 12 carries, 190 yards. That's a fairly impressive night. And for the first time tonight in the second half, Wadsworth is down. They're down by a point, 28-27. And as I said, this is starting to resemble a track meet more than a football game.
Monshine kicks it off. A high kick. Copeland again calling fair catch at the 23, where the Grizzlies will start 1st and 10.
So Wadsworth takes over on the 23-yard line, 1st and 10. Got a minute 46 to go in the 3rd quarter. And see if Wadsworth can keep the passing combinations clicking and the ball moving. But again, it's going to come down to defense. Somebody has to stop somebody somewhere, and that's what's going to take to win the game.
Mike Hoover looking for the slant pattern. It's run by Ben Vugis, and he just cut between 2 defenders to make the nice catch. Nice pass by Mike Hoover.
That's a 24-yard pickup. And
watch him.
Vugis is not getting up. I think he's got a muscle cramp. Watch how he splits the defenders right there, catches the ball off his shoulder pad, and rambles forward a little bit. And they're working on him.
Scott McCoy, a captain of the Midview Middies, made the tackle. McCoy, a senior.
And there's going to be a timeout while they're working on Vugis. Looks like they're working on his right leg or right knee. I'll tell you, I hope that he's not seriously hurt, because that would be a big loss both on offense and defense, because he's playing safety in place of Jeff Hanna.
He's also playing holder, backup quarterback. He's jack of all trades right now for the
Moves
Grizzlies.
the sideline markers. You saw that, changes the down markers, and he runs the scoreboard clock. So.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to be all right. Maybe just walking on his own there.
So we'll see who they replace Vugis with.
Well, Copeland and Osterland now in the
Yeah,
receiver.
it'll be Osterland. And Osterland will be there all the time instead of alternating with Vugis.
Hoover back to pass to his left, looks for Osterland, and it's through his hands at the 35 of Midview, incomplete.
We'll talk about throwing the ball. That's Hoover's 40th pass so far. I don't know what the record is for passes thrown in the game for Wadsworth, but I have a hunch that one's going to go by way of the boards tonight too. So incomplete, that'll be 2nd down and 10.
That gives Hoover 276 attempts on the season.
276 attempts for Hoover on the season. That's an impressive number of passes to be thrown. And we got a few more to go yet tonight too, I'm sure.
Hoover again back to pass over the middle to Copeland. There is all kinds of defenders around him, and he makes the catch at the 39 of Midview for a 1st down.
I got to say, Hoover is really threading the needle with those passes. And as you watch this thing laid right in the perfect, and give Copeland credit, he knows he's going to get hit. And there's the pass right there. And you couldn't ask for a better defense on the part of number 29 for Midview. If you'd hit him any sooner, it'd been interference.
Draw play, Tricome, this time he's met. It doesn't work. Number 61, Kevin Pickett, defensive tackle, senior for Midview.
And when he got up, he gave Tricome a little extra shove. I'm kind of surprised the refs didn't throw a flag on that one for some extracurriculars there. Time's running down in the 3rd quarter.
Mike Valiante, the junior receiver, now he ran the play in, and he's now split left. Top of your screen. 30 seconds to go in the 3rd. Hoover dropping back to pass, steps up in the pocket, keeps it himself, and he scampers around a couple defenders inside the 30-yard line to about the 27.
I think he has the 1st down. They're going to mark it just past the 1st down yard marker, so that's the 1st and 10. This is not a design run, it's a pass, but you see the pressure flushing him out of the pocket, and then Hoover just starts to ramble. Makes a cut there, another cut there, and then he just puts his head down and bulls forward for the 1st down. And
this is going to be the end of the 3rd quarter. There's only 10 seconds to go, and the Wadsworth huddle just standing pat right now. So at the end of 3, the score will be Midview 28, Wadsworth 27.
And the Wadsworth fans are on their feet cheering, as are the Midview fans. This has been one truly exciting football game. And of course, it's going to go down to the fourth quarter to see who's going to come up with this one. As we expected before the game started, Wadsworth's going to be pass, 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 and Midview is going to be run, 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 and that's what you've seen all night long. Neither side can stop the other, and it's amazing the size of the games that these people are producing.
And it's not that the defenses are so bad on either team, it's just that the offenses are great.
The numbers for Hoover, it's just like unbelievable. These are pro-type numbers. 41 passes, 18 completions, 311 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Tricomie has carried the ball 18 times and now has 58 yards and a touchdown. Most of his big games were on draw plays. When he's been going up the middle, he's been getting stopped. But if they run him the draw, he's getting 6-8 yards at a pop. Galford has 2 field goals tonight plus a PAT. Right, the PATs.
When did Hoover throw an interception? I remember Vujis was intercepted on the reverse.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Vujis was the one that threw the interception. I'm sorry. Sorry, Mike. And it's not you. I saw the one interception for Wadsworth, and I assumed that Hoover threw it, but he didn't.
Grizzlies change sides of the field. Pass intended for Chris Brink, but nice defense by number 32, Josh Hengartner. He was right there as Brink tried to make the catch.
That was good defense. And it's the first time really that Brink has been covered that well tonight. He's been loose quite a few times there.
Well, that was one of the shortest breaks between quarters I've ever seen.
So 2nd and 10 for Wadsworth on the 27.
Mike Hoover straight drop back. And
that's going to be holding on Wadsworth, I think.
As Hoover keeps a hold of it, he pump faked a couple of times, but
a flag came back, and that's holding on Wadsworth. And it's from the spot of the foul, and that's going to be a big penalty if they accept it.
Let's go quick down to the sidelines. Jeff Jenkins reporting.
Hey, John, Jeff on the field. Midview's beating up a little bit on the receivers. Adam Copeland came off, had a little problem with his knee. He's back in. Ben Vujis had just a muscle cramp. He ran that off. He's back in. Grizzlies getting set to go. Back up to you guys.
Well, this is going to bring 2nd down, and I think you're going to send your quarter milers in the flats and your milers deep by the time they mark this off. Holding's 10 yards from the spot of the foul, and that took place like 7 or 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So it's going to bring up 2nd down, and I don't know, I think you need a GPS system to measure how far they have to go on this one.
They're at the 44.
They're calling 2nd and 25 for the Grizzlies. And another thing, that effectively takes them out of field goal range for right now if they were in field goal range. 6th penalty on Wadsworth.
Hoover throwing long down the left side of the field, incomplete, way out of the reach of anybody.
That was thrown into triple coverage towards Chris Brink, but I think Hoover just threw that one away. He was looking, hoping for some kind of isolation on Brink going down the sideline, and it wasn't there. 3 defenders were back, so he just threw the ball out of bounds.
Vujis comes off the field. Ben Osterlin gets the play call from Coach Dennison, runs in with it, tells Mike Hoover what it is. Hoover takes it to the huddle.
So 3rd down and 25 for Wadsworth.
Tricomie in motion. Hoover dropping back. Looking long down the middle of the field, intended for Chris Brink. A little bit too high for Chris, incomplete. Grizzlies will have to punt from near midfield.
Would have been a great catch by Chris Brink. Well thrown ball, just a little bit high, way downfield. And you can see the pass there, just off the hands of Chris Brink. Went up for the ball, would have been a great catch. So Wadsworth is going to have to punt. This will only be their 2nd punt of the night.
Sophomore Justin Blackburn in there to punt.
And there's confusion on the part of Wadsworth. They didn't have enough people on the line of scrimmage, so they're forced to call a timeout. So we got 11:22 to go, and both teams have had to burn a timeout early when they didn't want to. So Wadsworth will punt from the 44 and hopefully pin Midview back deep. But gee, the way they've been running the ball, it doesn't really matter where they're at on the field. They can strike with the run all over.
Number 22, Doug Gerber, back to receive the punt, along with number 29, Scott McCoy. Blackburn takes it from the 45, punts it, gets off a nice one, bounces at the 20 and out of bounds.
That's a good punt. A little pooch punt to the sidelines, out of bounds on the 18, pinned Midview down deep. But now it's all in the hands of the defense. They have to stop Midview. And this is a good place to stop, down deep. With 11:15 to go in the fourth quarter, Wadsworth trailing by a point.
Ben Elwell under center, ready to go. Handoff to Rosansky, and he doesn't get anywhere, maybe a yard.
Behind the line of scrimmage and then dove forward for about a yard, so it's going to bring up a second down and 9. I think Chris Brink hit him in the backfield, but just couldn't hang on, so he did dive forward for that 1 yard. So that brings up second down and 9.
Broken up play there.
That's going to be motion penalty on Midview, so that's going to move them back another 5 yards. So that's going to bring up a second down. That's the 4th penalty for Midview. 2 of them were big on Wadsworth last drive before the end of the half, a pass interference and then a face mask. So second down and 14 on the 15-yard line. And I would think if you had a running game, these penalties would hurt you, but it hasn't with Midview because they can really run the ball in big chunks of yardage.
Well, they do it with 3 backs. Boron, Rosansky, and Gerber all have contributed nicely for the Middies. This time it's Gerber. Takes it around the right end, pushed out of bounds at the 25.
That's a nice run. It's going to be a pickup of about 10, so he'll be 5 yards short, and it's going to be a 3rd and 5. Little misdirection play here. Hand the ball off to Gerber. Here he comes around this side. Had a big convoy of blockers out in front of him, and then gets knocked out of bounds, dragged out there. Number 4, Steve Robertson, was the one that finally pushed him out. That's 200 yards rushing for him already. He got more than I thought. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and only 1. I thought he was a couple yards past that, so that was a nice 13-yard run.
There's a handoff to Boron. Jake McElvain chasing him down, trips him up just at the last second at the 45.
I don't know how many times we've seen that tonight on 3rd and short. They just pick up these huge chunks of yardage, and that was almost a miraculous tackle by Jake McElvain. But that's an 18-yard pickup and a shoestring away from being a touchdown. So Wadsworth has just not been able to stop this running game at all. They're more dangerous on 3rd down than they are on 1st down.
This time, Rosansky gets it.
Pickup of about 5. So that's the second running back for Midview to go over 100 yards, 200-yard rusher, 100-yard rusher. This is the numbers that we were shown on the stat sheet, averaging 400 and some yards rushing a game. So second down and 5, Wadsworth.
Yeah, they average 5. After this play, Elwell quick handoff.
Fumble.
And it's fumbled, and
Midview recovered.
They recovered at the 40. The ball kind of squirted out after the ball carrier hit the ground. It came out.
And not only that, they picked up 5 yards on the fumble. So that was a break for Midview.
Midview averaging 500 yards of offense a game, 420 of those on the ground.
And that's about where they're going for tonight. So Wadsworth has got to make the stop here. It's 1st and 10 on the 41-yard line. They're, like I say, Midview was lucky that they didn't lose that one.
8:25 left in the ball game. And Rosansky gets it. And he just plows his way through further downfield.
About a 12-yard pickup and another 1st and 10. And I'll tell you, it looks like this Midview offense on the ground is now really starting to rumble. They moved it back. It's going to be a 12-yard carry. So it's a 1st down on the 29. And these people, they're like tanks coming through the line here.
Eight minutes and counting. Who will advance after the next 8 minutes? Stick around and find out. Elwell to Boron. Boron up the middle takes it almost to the 20-yard line of Wadsworth.
And I'll tell you what Midview's doing now. They're getting yardage after the initial hit. In the first half, 3rd quarter, when Wadsworth made the hit at the line of scrimmage, they were stopped. But now there's a hit there at the line of scrimmage, but Bourne still just squirts right on through for a 7-yard gain. And the clock is starting to become a factor here, because if they go up by 8 points or go for a 2 and go up by 9 points, Wadsworth has to score twice. There isn't going to be an awful lot of time left for them to do it. So that's going to bring up a 2nd down and 4.
Elwell gives it this time to number 24, Andrew Blazek. Hasn't run the ball all night. Different face in there running the ball for Midview.
But he picked up 5 yards in the 1st down. Nothing fancy about this one. He just has a nice convoy of blockers out in front of him. Look at him hang on to the ball. No fumbles here. Kind of picks his way through and gets the 1st down. So it's a 1st and 10 Midview on the Wadsworth 16.
Blazak ran off the field and Gerber came back on with the play for the Middies. Rosansky gets it, just squirts through the Wadsworth tackler and falls forward for a couple extra yards at the 12.
Jake Wilhite made the tackle, but again, just the power, the sheer power of this running back. You can see Wilhite's hanging on the bottom there, but he just manages to get on through for a gain of 3 or 4 yards. So it's going to bring up 2nd down and 6.
Pat McCarthy in on that tackle also.
Be interesting if Wadsworth stops in here, if they kick the field goal or go for the touchdown, leading by 1.
Quarterback keeper Elwell, and he gets nowhere because McIlvain read that one quickly, and he lost maybe a yard on that one.
I think that's the first time we've seen the quarterback run tonight. You know he can. They use him as another running back, but haven't done so tonight. And I'll tell you, he looked kind of tentative going in there, unlike the bullbacks that have been running in there.
I said McIlvain, I meant Wilhite. Too many Jakes out there again.
Too many Jakes. Well, this time it was your fault, not mine, so Jake won't get on my case Monday for saying the wrong name. So 3rd and 6 for Midview.
And Gerber, the ball carrier.
He gets down to about the 8-yard line, and you'd have to guess that they're going to kick the field goal at this point to try to make it a 4-point lead. So it's going to be a 4th down and 3.
They mark it at the 9.
And
they're looking over to the sideline.
And they're saying they're going to go for it. Tell you, the time is running down as far as huddle time is concerned. So they're going to have to do something pretty quick or they're going to delay a game. They haven't called a timeout. And
there they do.
There's the timeout Midview. So there's only 4:26 to go.
Well,
and
it's an interesting decision, Larry, because if they score a touchdown, they go up by 7. And what do? You go for 2, because if you don't make it, you still force Wadsworth to score a touchdown and an extra point.
I'll tell
if
you,
you do make it, you go up by 9, and they can't come back with any kind of score.
I think it's a tough decision, and this is why the coaches get paid a lot, and I don't. But I think if I were the Midview coach, I would kick the field goal, go up by 4, and force Wadsworth to go the whole length of the field. Because Galpert's got a good leg. He's accurate. They know that. And if they don't make it here, only a 1-point game, Wadsworth wouldn't have to drive the ball very far to get into field goal position. Put it in the end zone, that's an entirely different situation. The numbers rushing for Midview are just unbelievable. Rosansky, 19 carries, 117 yards. Gerber, 14 carries, 204 yards. Boron, 7 carries, 116 yards. And real quick, I come out with 437 yards of rushing so far for Midview.
That's right around there, a little over their average.
That's over their average, and the Wadsworth, they're going to go for it on 4th down and 3. The Wadsworth fans are on their feet.
So are we.
And let's see if they're going to try to draw them offside.
Yes, they are, Larry. The count trying to draw them off. They don't. Give to Uzansky. Goes around the end. Pushed out of bounds, but he gets a first down.
Depends on where they mark it.
Rosansky
And
maybe did not get it. He did get it.
By about half the length of football. Watch here. The Wadsworth defenders are hanging on for dear life, but Rosansky, as you said, is a bull as he steps out right there. The referee is standing right there to make the mark.
I mean, McIlvain, or I'm sorry, McCarthy was wrapped around his waist, had to lift his weight up in the air to pull Rosansky down.
So it's going to be 1st and goal on the 6. That was a gutsy call by the Midview coach. I wouldn't have done that, but it worked.
Well, makes you
and
look
again, that's why he gets paid and I don't.
Makes you look like a genius when it works.
Yep.
Makes you look like a stoop when it doesn't. Rosansky scampers into the end zone for a Midview touchdown. And that makes it 34-27, and here's what I was talking about, Larry.
Now, the interesting thing, are they going to go for 1 or are they going to go for 2?
You go for 2. Wadsworth needs 2 scores if they're successful. But if they aren't, they still have to score the touchdown and extra point to tie it.
And there's a timeout on the field.
But I assume they would make the Grizzlies score the touchdown and the 2-point conversion to tie it. That's
statistically, I think you go for 1 here to put it up by 8. That way, you can't lose the game with 1 score. And you got a chance, 2 chances stopping them. The number 1 stopping them from scoring the touchdown, and the number 2 stopping them from scoring the extra point.
They are not setting up to kick.
I don't know who called timeout.
I think they're thinking, well, if we go for 2, we're up 9.
Oh, there was an injured Wadsworth player on the field that they're helping. That's what the timeout was about.
Greg Dent, the junior linebacker.
I couldn't figure out, why the clock was stopped. There are some fans in front of us standing up, and we can't see that corner of the end zone. And they're going to kick the extra point.
Yes, they are. Monshine in to kick the 5th extra point of the night for Midview. It's up and good, 35-27, so the Grizzlies will need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie the ball game with 4:17 to go in the game.
So it's all up to the Wadsworth offense now, 35-27. As you said, they need a touchdown, they need a 2-point conversion to tie and hopefully send the game into overtime. And Wadsworth has 2 timeouts. I believe Midview has 2 timeouts.
Gary Lake having a look at Greg Dent's neck, maybe, or his head. I'm not sure.
Maybe it's his helmet. The last 2 times that they've kicked off, Adam Copeland has called for a fair catch, which were kind of interesting calls. They were loopy short kicks, but I don't think they're going to call for a fair catch this time. They're going to try to move the ball downfield.
We hope you've enjoyed Wadsworth Grizzly football here on WCTV Channel 16 this season.
You certainly can't say this hasn't been an exciting game no matter how it turns out.
And again, a shallow kick. This time, one of the up men, Pat McCarthy, takes it, brought down at the 30.
It's a 10-yard return, and Midview will take that any day. So here it is, 4:12 to go. Wadsworth's got 70 yards to go to score, which of course they can do in a lot less time than 4:12. and then they need the 2-point extra conversion to tie, extra point conversion. So we'll see what they do, and I think you can figure the last 4 minutes and 12 seconds when Wadsworth has the balls, it's going to be in the air, in the air, in the air every play.
This is the last game we'll be bringing you from Arkwright Stadium. Stay tuned to WCTV for more information on the next game should the Grizzlies win this one. Hoover back, and
nice defensive play. Tipped by number 32.
Josh Hengartner, intended for Copeland, running that slant pattern towards the middle of the field.
And I think that's the first time that Midview has stopped the slant. I mean, there have been incompletions and drops, but that time the safety was playing just a little bit up, got in the lane and tipped the ball. That's the 45th pass that Hoover has thrown tonight, and you can see there's the tip right there. So it brings up a 2nd down and 10. That play took 4 seconds.
Hoover, short drop back. Finds Vujas on a slant from the other side of the field. Vujas dinged up again on that play. Second time Vujas has been down in this game. See if we can see what happened to him right here.
There's the throw, catches the ball.
Might have just got his knee rolled over there by the defender on the tackle.
I'm surprised. They said that was not a 1st down. I thought he was clearly beyond the line, but they said it's short, so it's going to bring up a 3rd down and maybe a foot or something like that as they take a look at Vujas.
Exactly 4 minutes to go in the game. Grizzlies 9-1, Midview 10-0.
If you remember earlier on, Vujas injured his leg. He had some kind of muscle cramp, I believe. I think they're looking at the same leg. And Vujas is getting up and
being helped up. And he's not putting much weight on that right foot.
It looks like the same injury that he had before. He's walking exactly the same way. So 3rd down and less than a yard to go to Wadsworth on the 39-yard line.
Quarterback keeper here, Larry.
I don't know. Maybe I'd go for it all here. But the defense is playing back a bit. They're looking for
there it is. And Hoover gets the 1st down.
And that isn't exactly a quarterback sneak. What happens is Hoover takes the ball and he runs down the line of scrimmage looking for an opening and then kind of wedges his way in. So it's the 1st down Wadsworth on the 41-yard line. You can see the time is starting to run down, but it isn't really a big factor yet because Wadsworth can strike so quickly.
Valiante and Moeller into the game. Osterland and Stone out. 2 receivers at the top of your screen.
I'll guarantee you nobody's left this game tonight.
Fake handoff. Hoover steps out of the pressure to midfield at the 50, and he falls down at the 45. Nice run by Mike Hoover.
And that's going to be more than enough for a 1st down. I think he picked up about 12 on the play. Not a designed run, of course. He's looking to pass, and then he just sees all this space up in front of him and says, hey, I'm taking off. And tucks the ball in, and good 12-yard run for Hoover. 1st down.
3:20 to go. Grizzlies now in Midview territory. Tricomie shifting, now lining up as a receiver. Long pass down the middle of the field, intended for Chris Brink.
Just out of his reach.
In what would have been his 6th reception of the night.
You watch, Brink is pretty open over the middle, and he makes the dive for the ball just out of his reach right there. Would have had to have been a great catch. Well, I don't think he could have caught it. So 2nd down and 10 for Wadsworth, 3:08 to go.
Wadsworth crowd not very vocal right now.
I think everybody's just sitting on pins and needles trying to see what's going to happen here. The timeout. And Midview takes the timeout. I think that's their 2nd timeout. They didn't like something that they saw there. So, you know, when we went back to the beginning of the game and we were saying what was it going to be, Wadsworth passing and the Midview rushing and who could stop who. And right now at this particular point in time, Midview defense has come up big. But of course that could change in the next 30 seconds the way Wadsworth has been playing. So 35-28, 8 points down. It's going to take a touchdown and an extra point to tie, a 2-point conversion to tie.
Well, if you look at all aspects of the Grizzlies game, their weakest spot probably is at stopping the run.
Yeah, like last week against Copley and some other teams we played.
Right. So I think Midview came into the game seeing tape and knowing that fact. And they said, hey, we have this great running game. They have a little trouble stopping the run. Let's have at it. Here we are with 3:08 to go.
Well, the thing about Midview, I mean, Wadsworth will stop them on 2 downs, and then 3rd down, they'll break a big run. Stop 2 times, 3rd down. We've seen that all night long. The 3rd and long is nothing to them. It's just like another play.
Valiante in motion.
Whistles all over the place, and the Midview players are clapping. I think that's going to be a motion penalty or offside against Wadsworth. Motion on Wadsworth, so that moves it back 5. It'll be a 2nd down and 15 for Wadsworth, and that's their 7th penalty for the night. $40 yards in penalties for Wadsworth on the 7 penalties.
The ball now laying just inside Wadsworth territory on their side of midfield. Hoover rolling to the left, has 2 receivers downfield, throws it to Copeland at the 1st down marker. It's completed. What a catch.
Yeah, I thought he was bobbling the ball when he went out of bounds, but the referee's right on the spot, ruled the catch. So you watch this, rolls, throw the ball.
Coming right into your living room. Very nicely done.
Yep. So they're going to be a yard short, so it's going to be 3rd and 1 for Wadsworth on the 36-yard line. That was a 48 pass that's been thrown by Mike Hoover. He's 19 for 48. I've never heard numbers anything remotely like that.
What are the reception numbers on Copeland tonight, too?
Another quarterback sneak or quarterback run. It's going to be close to see if he made it or not.
Same play they ran trying to get the 1st down the last time.
And everybody's looking at it pretty carefully. And it's short. So it's going to bring up a 4th down. And Hoover saying, hey, I want a measurement here. And the referee saying, we'll take a look at it. And here come the chains in.
Wadsworth, of course, will go for it with only 2:53 to go.
And they got it. 1st down. So 1st and 10 Wadsworth on the 35 with 2:53 to play. Hoover's rushed for 52 yards, and Tracomie's only rushed for 58, and he hasn't touched the ball in a long time, and I don't think he's going to, except on the receiving end of a pass, perhaps.
Hoover, straight drop back, finds a hole on the right side of the line. All kinds of running room at the 20, the 15, inside the 15 at about the 13. Nice run again by Mike Hoover, showing his athleticism.
A 17-yard run for Hoover, which makes him the leading rusher on the Wadsworth team. And Wadsworth now has a 1st and 10 on the 18 with 2:33 to go and counting. But remember, not only do they need the touchdown here, they've got to get that 2-point conversion also. 69 total yards rushing for Mike Hoover.
Hoover, little step back, looks for the fade pass to Burgess, touchdown, Wadsworth! Nice job jumping up and catching the fade pass in the corner of the end zone.
So it's a 14-yard touchdown pass, but here's the game right here, this 2-point conversion. And Hoover's calling a timeout. They want to talk this one over. Because like I say, they miss this one and the game is over. If they make it, it kind of looks like we're heading for overtime, but Wadsworth takes timeout.
They'll bring in the provisions. See what kind of tricks the Grizzly coaching staff has in their bag to pull out here.
Their offense is so potent, I don't think they need tricks. What do you look for? I look for timing pass in the corner of the end zone to Vujas or maybe Copeland. You know, one thing I forgot about, even if they don't make the extra point and they kick off, they could go for the onside kick. So, see what they're going to do. The coaches have talked it over, and the players have talked it over, and see what happens. A little slant out, maybe to the right. That's what John Bernard says. We'll see what happens. Well, here's the playoff season right here for Wadsworth. We're going to have to make this one.
No receivers for the Grizzlies. 3 backs. The fake handoff to Dent. There it is. Two-point conversion to Joe Tricome.
Oh, my.
I called it pretty close there.
You called it pretty close. Gotta say, John, you had a wide receiver running that route, and it was Tricome out of the backfield that did it. So what more can you ask for in a playoff game? It's tied 35-35 with 2:08 to go, and 2:08 is an eternity in this game. Neither team could score a touchdown yet. I don't think Wadsworth's going to go for the onside kick.
The Grizzlies with the full house backfield there. No receivers, and Hoover just found Tricome all alone in the right corner of the end zone for the 2-point conversion. What a huge play.
Yep. Of course, that was like the one they did against the Falls, too. And the one against Green to win the game. Wadsworth is not laying down. They're not going away. Tell you, I would not expect an onside kick here, but it wouldn't surprise me if they just try to loop the ball into some open area and hope with the bouncing around that's going on that Wadsworth can recover. It looks like that Midview's expecting an onside kick because they've got like
one player back.
Yeah, one player back.
Not deep.
Yeah, 10 within 5 yards of where the ball would be declared a free ball. So, yeah, a little pooch kick to the sidelines would look pretty good right about now.
And now the Midview middies are dropping back.
Yeah, they're going into a more conventional type formation now. Still, they don't have many people back. The Good Hands people are all up front.
They've got front players and back players. Really no one clogging the hole in the middle. Galper just bounces it at the 20, and it's going to stay in bounds where Boron picks it up at the 15. And he brings it all the way out to the 27. Nice run back after Boron picked it up clear over in front of the Wadsworth bench on the sideline.
Well, one of the problems both teams have now, I think each team only has one timeout. So I don't think at this particular point in time Midview's going to play for overtime and just run out the clock. But I don't think they're going to do anything too risky either. Boy, a fumble would look real nice here, wouldn't it? There's their standard wing T formation.
There's the reverse. And there goes Boron. And he
Wadsworth has the ball.
Wadsworth! Steve Robertson, number 4 for the Grizzlies, falls on the Midview fumble at the 45-yard line.
They tried the inside reverse again, and Boron came through pretty clean. It looked like he was rambling, got hit, the ball popped out, and there was Steve Robertson to make the fumble recovery, and Wadsworth just got the ball on the 44-yard line with 1:54 to go. Wow, this is exciting.
And plenty of time now for the Grizzlies to score. 1:54 to go in the game. Copeland and Buja split to the left. Tricome now in motion, split to the right. Hoover looking, middle of the field, and it's almost intercepted, but incomplete, intended for Brink.
Chris Brink was covered front and back.
He's throwing into that coverage a lot tonight to Brink, and
it had to be a perfect pass, and the front receiver the front defender got his hand on the ball, just kind of batted it up in the air a little bit, and the person trailing Brink had a good shot at the interception. So that brings the second down and 10 to go for Wadsworth. As you can see, 1:49 to go to score tied 35-35. What a game.
See some antsy Wadsworth fans down here in front of us. Osterlin in motion now. Hoover rolling to the left and finds Adam Copeland at the 33.
Oh, and Copeland's coming up limping. He's going back into the huddle, but he's limping pretty badly. The clock stops while they move the chains. And minute 41 to go. And remember, Wadsworth doesn't have to score a touchdown here. They would really like to, but Galpert's leg, another first down or two, and they're in close enough for him to kick the field goal if need be.
Hoover over to Copeland again.
The 25-yard line. And the clock continues to run.
What was the gain on that one for
It's about
Copeland?
a 5-yard pickup. I think what Wadsworth is, they're marking it actually an 8-yard pickup. I think what happened, Wadsworth wanted to stop the clock, but Copeland just didn't manage to get out of bounds. So the ball's on the 25. It's going to be a second down and 3, minute 5 to go.
Copeland, the senior receiver, 9 receptions for over 100 yards tonight. Vujis again on a little fade pass. It looks like
they're calling it incomplete. There was a bump on the play.
Hoover might have got bumped as he threw it there.
So Wadsworth is going to take this time to regroup with 57 seconds to play. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 2 yards to go. They're on the 25-yard line. If they don't pick up the first, this is going to be a long field goal. It'll be a 37-yarder.
But what did we say about a quarter ago, Larry, that Sam Galpert may be called upon to make a big kick here at the end of the game?
Yeah, I don't think Wadsworth wants it to be this big, though. 37 yards is a pretty good distance for a high school kid to kick the ball.
Right, I meant if they moved a little closer. As Hoover to Copeland, he tried to thread it between the defenders to Copeland, and he just dropped the ball, and Copeland's slow to get up.
I'll tell you what, if I were the Wadsworth coach and not telling them what to do, I wouldn't try the field goal. I think it's too long. I think I'd go for it. I mean, the worst that can happen if you don't make it is you got overtime. So they're bringing in the receiver corps, so this is going to be a 4th down and 3.
From the 25 of Midview.
They're going to go for it and try the field goal if they get in a little closer.
Now the Wadsworth fans start to stand and cheer. Hoover finds Brink, caught at the 20.
He's in! Oh my!
What a play by the Wadsworth offense as Chris Brink had a defender on his back. He just turned, looked over his own shoulder, found the catch, and ran it in with all kinds of green in front of him.
I got to say, I told you so at the beginning. I said Chris Brink was going to have a big game, and what you saw there was Chris Brink is just too big for a safety to bring down. He caught the ball. He should have been tackled, but with his strength, he just shrugged off the safety and literally waltzed into the end zone.
Big kick here for Galpert. It's up and good.
So what else is new?
42-35, Wadsworth leading with 45 seconds to go in the game.
How many times have we seen this team come back? Hey, it's really something. But, you know, 45 seconds against this running game, believe it or not, it's an eternity. I think that they only have 1 timeout. Midview has 1 timeout, so it's going to be interesting to see how Wadsworth kicks the ball, too. Once again, I would assume they try to kick it into a dead area to keep it away from their speedy backs and hope they can't get much of a return. But this game is everything that a playoff game should be. And it sounds cliche, but it's really too bad that one of these 2 teams has to lose because they both played outstanding ball. They both came in here. They did what they had to do. They did what they could do. I mean, gee whiz, when you're in a playoff game and you score 35 points, you don't expect to lose. Brink, that's 6 catches for Chris Brink, but that was the biggest one right there.
Tune in to Grizzly Gridiron this Monday evening. I'll have Coach Dennison and some guest players on. We'll talk about this game, and we'll probably have about a half hour just highlights for that show.
This whole game's a highlight film. I mean, it's like a 2.5-hour highlight film.
So stay tuned to WCTV, and we'll let you know if we'll be following the Grizzlies to their next ball game should they win this one.
Bouncing wildly down the field.
Picked up by 24, Andrew Blazek running up the middle of the field, just tripped up and falls at the 40.
Well, that was scary because he was tripped up as he was coming through there, you're right, and there was a lot of empty field ahead of him. So they're marking the ball on the 39-yard line with 39 seconds to go. And, you know, you wonder if they even have time to try the running plays. Are they going to have to go to the air?
Yeah, they only have the 1 timeout.
With 1 timeout, if you're running the ball, that's only 3 running plays. Wadsworth defense playing a little bit looser.
Elwell back to throw it. Down the middle of the field, it's incomplete, intended for Gerber.
And that took all of 5 seconds off the clock.
Gerber, the leading receiver.
And I'll tell you, that was dangerous because it was off his hands and it was up in the air. And Elwell was fortunate there were no Wadsworth defenders near enough to even try for the interception.
I was going to say Gerber, the leading receiver for Midview, and he's really a running back. They don't have any feature receivers.
No, they don't.
Gerber averaging 24 yards per catch. Elwell back to pass again.
Screen to the right.
Pass to Boron. He's quick at midfield. 45, 40. Gets out of bounds. 24 seconds to go.
They're marking the ball out on the 39-yard line. And the thing is, of course, that a field goal isn't going to do you any good. You're going to have to score the touchdown. And that was a well set up screen. And I think you see Pat McCarthy will come over and run him out of bounds. And McIlvain is down there. And then there's McCarthy right there to give him the shove out of bounds. They mark the ball back on the 42-yard line now with 24 seconds to go. And one timeout again for Midview.
And motion going to be called on the Midview line, I think. They jumped a little quick there before the snap. False start, and it is.
Boy, this 24 seconds or the 39 seconds when the Dutch ball's in eternity, isn't it? It's just amazing how long the last few minutes of a football game could take.
Well, we're at 10:15 p.m. right now.
It's a long game.
Usually these games are over
9:45.
Yeah, before 10 o'clock. 24 seconds to go. First and 15 for Midview. Ball on the 47.
Pass.
Fake handoff. Elwell looking to pass. Long down the left side of the field. Incomplete. Intended for number 22, Gerber.
That was excellent coverage by Pat McCarthy. Just drifted back there. And the thing you don't want is interference on a play like this. And McCarthy made sure he's between the receiver and the ball, kept looking at the ball. If you watch McCarthy, he's not looking at the receiver, looking at the ball, so you can't call pass interference there. And that brings up a 3rd down and 15.
And he also didn't let the receiver outrun him.
No, that was just well defended. So 3rd down and 15 with 16 seconds to go. And they've got trips down the bottom here. They're going to try a Hail Mary type pass.
3 receivers and too many men on the field.
Or delay a game.
Boron tried to quickly get off the field. They had 3 receivers to the right, and the refs threw the flags before he was completely.
I think it was delay a game because he didn't get off in time. So that's another 5 yards. 6 penalty against Midview. See what they call on this. They're calling. I think they called an illegal substitution. So they don't go to the trips formation this time.
2nd and 20. 15 seconds to go. Elwell to throw again. Strong arm down the field. Tipped by Vujis at the 15 and bounces into the end zone. 8 seconds to go. 3rd and long.
And this wasn't exactly a Hail Mary, but he threw it down the field, hoping to find a receiver. Just threw it over everybody. And Vujis, to his credit, didn't bite. He was standing behind the receiver, and the ball just sails. And you can see Vujis there, not even trying to make the interception, just tipped the ball away. So that brings up a 3rd down and 20 to go. But most important, there's only 8.8 seconds left in the game.
Maybe 2 more pass plays
2 more
here.
pass plays possibly.
Now we got the 3 receivers at the bottom of your screen. 1 lone back. And they jumped again. Coming up for the play before the ball snapped. 5 yards back, and 2nd lost off the clock.
They're going to have to put that back
on, yeah. Will the Grizzlies advance and await the winner of the Anthony Wayne Pickwa game?
I'll tell you in 7.6 seconds. And now the referees are calling time to put the time back on the clock.
Hopefully for the Wadsworth community, we'll be able to follow the Grizzlies, and
you're going to have to stay tuned about that.
Yes,
see what's
you
going
will.
on. But again, I wouldn't call this one in the bag yet, the way this game's gone. Okay, they're going to put time back on the clock to keep it down on the field, however they choose to do it. So 3rd and 25, 8.8 seconds to go. And there it is, 8.8 seconds back on the clock, or 8.3. I can't really tell because one of the bulbs is kind of, I think it's 8.8.
We heard here in the booth that Anthony Wayne is leading number 1 seed Piqua. Elwell, deep drop back, high pass, long
throws it up for grabs.
Intercepted,
and
Steve Robertson. That's the game with 0.5 seconds to go. The Grizzlies will advance.
Wow, what a game. That is just a tremendous playoff game. It's everything you want. I feel sorry for Midview. I mean, they played one heck of a ball game. And like I say, it's just too bad that somebody had to lose the game. That was a Hail Mary pass. The receivers couldn't get deep enough. And Steve Robertson was basically playing center field, just waiting back there, and he pulled the ball down.
Hoover's going to go down to one knee on this play and end the ball game. Wadsworth going to win it 42-35. They will move on and meet the winner of the White House Anthony Wayne Piqua game. Check your local papers for the winner of that one to find out who the Grizzlies play, and stay tuned to WCTV. We'll let you know.
Thanks.
We will be there covering the ball.
There's
game.
the kneel down, and that's it. Wadsworth wins their first playoff game ever. The fans just swarm onto the field. What a great game.
Final score, there you see it. Grizzlies 42, Midview Middies 35. Fans storming the field of Artwright Stadium. And what a game, Larry. Just back and forth, back and forth.
Well, it's everything you wanted in a playoff game. And like I say, each team came out and did what they did best. Wadsworth did what they did best last. And that was the difference in the game.
So what a tremendous ball game. We hope you enjoyed the coverage. And we hope to be following the Grizzlies the rest of the way in one fashion or another, thanks to the WCTV crew. Ken Buck, Todd Constantine, Andrew Levitt, and Tyler Doyle. I'm John Bernard, voice of the Wadsworth Grizzlies. You can email us at grizzlytv@yahoo.com. And for our fancy website, there it is. You can log on there and see all kinds of neat stuff, Grizzly TV. So, what a great win for the Grizzlies. And tune in to Grizzly Gridiron Monday night. We may find out more about the status of televising the game for the Wadsworth community. The Wadsworth flag being waved and run across the field here at Artwright Stadium for a 42-35 victory for the Grizzlies. We hope to see you for next week's game against either White House Anthony Wayne or Piqua. And we'll continue on from there. So for the whole WCTV crew and Larry Varner, Grizzlies victorious 42-35 in this regional quarterfinal playoff game. So long, everybody.